market equal. Dylan Cohen from Beat the Book here to talk about the Sport Trade Advantage. With higher payouts, Sport Trade is the ultimate sports betting experience. Sport Trade is the first sports betting app that gives you the option to see the odds expressed as probabilities, and it's changing in-game betting forever. If it's easier to understand 52% probability of winning versus minus 108 odds, then Sport Trade is for you. With this percent odds feature, cashing out now makes much more sense. As the win probability changes, so does the value of your bet. And if you're an experienced bettor and prefer American odds, you'll get pricing closer to minus 106 versus the normal minus 110, coupled with instant in-play betting. No more spinny wheels. So download Sport Trade today to see the difference and beat the book. Use promo code 1580 to earn 10% cash back on every bet you place in your first week. Terms apply.
Sport Trade is regulated by the Arizona Department of Gaming. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Now open in Scottsdale. It's United Porte Custom Door Showroom with 40,000 Euro doors and hundreds of state-of-the-art designs and finishes on display, plus kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and more, all at wholesale prices. Builders, contractors, designers, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Porte, P-O-R-T-E. Stop by to see and feel the quality. United Porte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
Did you know that daily multivitamins boost your health on the inside and the outside? It's true. Multivitamins with folic acid boost energy levels, improve your mood, and promote overall wellness. And if you decide to have a baby, they can help prevent birth defects in a pregnancy. That's why the Arizona Department of Health Services is offering a free 3-month supply of multivitamins. Visit azdhs.gov/PowerMe-A2C for free vitamins.
Sponsored by the Arizona Department of Health Services.
Will Shakespeare here. Back in my day, I invented over 1,700 slang words like swagger, bedazzled, and my personal favorite, besmirch. But even I have trouble understanding slang words like yeet or bougie or
this is fire.
Actually, it is extremely smooth Shakespeare vodka.
Okay, boomer.
See what I mean? But there is one word that describes the pure quadruple distilled spirit crafted from an 8th century Polish recipe the first time you try it.
So lit.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Shakespeare vodka. So lit.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down.
Because it's time. Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's Tuesday here on the Daily Blender, and your good friend, radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, not alongside Randy White. He'll be back tomorrow. We got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, broadcasting live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. Taco Kenny's on the text line. He says, Happy New Year's, fellers. I went nuts yesterday. Thought we lost you. How about them Raiders? Just cleaning house, baby. It's Toto, he says. We'll get to that in a little bit. But, yesterday, a lot of people lost their minds. It's just one of these things that happens. We weren't on. Go on with your lives. Don't worry about it. We posted up a thing saying, don't worry. It's fine. We'll be back tomorrow. Look, we're back tomorrow. So, everybody freaks out. Sometimes we just need a random day off and it's none of your damn business. How do you like that?
Yeah. Sometimes it's just like that. I don't know.
I think they were upset because we weren't here yesterday for National Bean Day.
No.
But we are here today for the day that matters, which is National Pass Gas Day.
Well, I see. I made up for it because I had beans earlier today, and now I am doing the second part of that.
You are caught up in that little room that you're in. Pressurizing the cabin as we speak. But I guess the first time they saw fart jokes show up in literature or any sort of writing, 1900 BC. For almost as long as we've had a Jesus, there was fart jokes before that. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Twice as long as we've had a Jesus, there's fart jokes.
As long as you have humans, you'll have fart jokes.
Yeah, there's some guy who was making jokes about passing gas in Samaria back in 1900 BC, and then in 1632, the word fart was invented. It was coined from the English word fjortan, which means to break wind. So that's where fart comes from, fjortan.
That's cool. I'm saving that one. That's one that you just roll that out at a party.
Sure.
When everyone is kind of already good and liquored up, you seem very impressive for knowing that.
You should write it down so you know how to spell it. It's Feortan. Fjortan.
Fjortan. I like
Fjortan. Right. I've been in here fjorting all night, you know. I got to tell you, this is true. I farted the other day. I was in bed. My wife was already out of bed, and I was in, and it hurt my back. That's how hard I farted. I almost threw my back out.
Oh no!
I wish I was making this up.
I've never done that, and I hope I never do. That sounds terrible.
Well, I knew it was going to be a good one, so I kind of like, you know how you kind of tense up. You're like, you know, and when I did that, that's like it was a good one. By the way, you know, I missed my calling in probably my century because I've said many occasions, I never fart on purpose around my wife. When you're asleep, there's nothing you can do about it. Or if she sneaks up on you. Like I didn't know she was in another room, and I let a good one. I hear her start laughing. I'm like, geez, I didn't mean to do that. But
it seems like she appreciates a good fart too.
Yeah, she does.
Most people do when they don't have to smell it.
Right. It's exactly what she says. Exactly what she said.
Farts are funny to hear. They are not funny afterwards.
I'm not generally a stinky butt. You know what I'm saying? I like I've told this many times before, previous co-hosts standing in that studio with me for years on end, and I'm just blasting ass constantly, and they never knew. Never knew.
You have the rare silent, but somehow not deadly.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be silent. I can ring the bell, man. So, but in the 1800s, there was this Frenchman named Joseph Pujol, and he was a professional farter, and he'd fart on stage for entertainment. Respect.
Yeah, I want that job. That's a great job.
Respect. So, anyways, National Pass Gas Day. Observe it if you do, and enjoy. That's all. That's all I'm going to say about that. Mr. Wilbur says, "Pull my finger." And but do I need to make noise so you know where to point it? Over here. I was making Mr. Wilbur jokes on Twitter yesterday because we weren't on air.
Some things just have to go on.
Well, he texted in. He's like, "Hey, where are you guys?" I'm like, "Hey, we're out over here. Can't you see us?" Yeah.
Oh my God.
Of course, Donnie comes back with his first text after self-imposed exile and says, "Sounds like Radio Ron suspended you guys for a day." Nope, not even. We were just glad to suspend you for a month. That was a great month. Hey, Keon, remember how nice December was?
It was a good run we had.
Oh my God. Beer Bob says, "Is it me or is it a little ironic? National Fart Day comes after National Bean Day." Beer Bob, I feel like that's probably planned.
Seems intentional.
Yeah.
Seems intentional.
So we weren't here yesterday to break down all of the NFL games that happened on Saturday and Sunday. We weren't here to do a whole bunch of stuff. Now, don't worry. We're not going to go backwards and reread and do all that stuff that we were going to do yesterday. We'll just keep moving forward like normal. But I do want to announce the weekly pick winner for the Harman Solar NFL Fan Pick'em contest. And this week, week 18, it's Wild Woman 22. Wild Woman.
Should text into the show because that's also a very cool texter nickname.
She's a feral lassie is what she is. Wild Woman 22 got 13 right, and she won the tiebreaker with 3 people. So congratulations to her. Current leader continues to be Vikes Sholo or Vikes Howlow. I when you cram all of them together, it could be Vike Sholo. It could be Vic Esh Olo. I mean, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know where to put the emphasis. Where is the split?
Which syllable to do that on? Yeah.
Yeah. So she got whoever, maybe they got 199 right so far in the season. Now, people were expressing surprise. Wait, you go all the way to the Super Bowl with your picks contest? You're damn right we do. You're damn right we do. Well, here, look at this. The top person, Vike Sholo, has 199 right. followed by Pro Dog and Tony Baloney with 198. Brett Maverick has 197, as do Illini Champs. And then C. Bacher is back there with 195. NFL Blitzer, Random Texter, Puckered Starfish, me, Oaktown Destroyer. We have 194. So we're 5 back. It's not impossible. It's not likely, but it's not impossible. But for guys like Pro Dog and Tony Baloney and Brett Maverick are only a couple of picks away. It's still open for a win. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is so far back at this moment with the amount of games that we have. Now we've got 6 games this week. Vike Sholo could blow it and I could nail it. And all of a sudden I'm in first place.
Yeah. And a testament to that is that at one point this season, and by one point, I mean 3 weeks ago, Ralph had a 6-point lead on me. We are tied.
Yeah. No, good job on that. I noticed that. Don't think I didn't notice.
I'm just saying that gap can close. If it can close where we are, then if you're up at the top, it can close up there too.
So keep doing them picks. And even if you are not eligible, or I'm not eligible, even if you're not able to close the gap and win, you could win a weekly prize. So you never know. So here's where we're at least with the show. I'm in the lead with 194 right. I got 12 right over the weekend, as did Keon. You got 181. Ralph has 181. He only got 9 right, which means I am now 13 ahead of him.
But I also just enjoy him falling behind you. Like, I already knew I wasn't going to catch you. I'm not pressed about that. But he really thought he had a chance. Yeah, and the fact that he got somewhat close and has now just been falling back for the last month has been pretty funny.
What was the closest he got? 5?
Something like that, yeah. And then you had that perfect week. It basically pushed him out of the... Yeah.
Randy got 11 right this week. Not bad for him either. Your boy from Beat the Book forgot to do his picks.
Uh-oh.
Did you know that? He just
I did not know that.
He's like, I'm making money. I don't care about this.
Yeah, he sent me some of his bets. He should have picked them. He would have been fine.
I've decided next year I'm picking. I'm betting my picks next year. Because I got like 71% correct.
Yeah. If you bet at that level, yeah, you'll be doing more than a lot of experts do.
I just got to figure out what the strategy is. If I do $1 on every pick, is that gonna make me much? You know what I mean? So I'm putting in
over
16
the course of a
week.
season, that's going to be pretty decent, I think.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what the right way to do it is, but I'm gonna do it. Yeah, which means my picks will stink next year. But whatever. Oh, Pro Dog says, who was the week 18 wiener? It was Wild Woman 22. No wiener. Let's see. Baker's Cocky Hen says, I missed the memo. I've been farting all over the office yesterday. The other guy who comes in decided to work from home today because of me. So it's only 2 of you, and the other guy, you farted him out. That's actually impressive. I think
he just was like, I'm gonna take the week off.
Yeah, just celebrate with Bean Burrito. Flip the days. Do what you got to do. Taco Kenny says, if I farted in front of the wifey, she'd tase my ass. Literally. No, I believe you. She's no one to be trifled with. Weso Grande says, I won't be going out if there's a National Shark Day this year. Presumably that would be tomorrow. That would be tomorrow. It should be tomorrow. If it's not tomorrow, I'm declaring it tomorrow. Tomorrow, National Shark Day.
Because you have Bean Day, Fart Day. Then obviously the next progression, if you continually eat beans, is, well.
Ooh, and even if it's a small one, it's a baby shark, do-do-do-do, baby shark, do-do-do-do-do. Hamilton Porter says, sorry, guys, wasn't here yesterday. Neither were we. He says, what was the most common excuse Vikings fans gave for why they got curb stomped? Damn it, I missed that. You're right. I missed that.
It's the only part of this.
Oh, that was, talk about being exposed as a fraud. That was the game. And to be fair, come on. The Detroit Lions, it's not even about their defense, but it is their defense. It's not even about the talent. It's about just the heart. It is about the psychotic go after it, go 110% no matter what, because you don't, and I said this last week, remember, you don't want to be the guy sitting in the film room missing a tackle or not running towards the ball on defense.
Yeah. And this is why culture matters. Like, that's part of their culture. Like, we talked about it for a few years with the Ravens and their preseason streak. The Ravens culture is that they win everything. And they don't care what the game is, and they don't care what the stakes are. And the Lions have a similar mentality, except for regular season games that they should probably lay off of. They don't even do that there because they don't know how to stop. And that hurts them, but it also helps them because it means that everybody is running through a brick wall every single play, every single game.
This is what he meant when he said biting kneecaps.
Yeah. And it's funny because he got hired and we all laughed at him. But the thing is, the guy's worked. He's gotten his team to play at that level. And I think, when you look at the Vikings, I don't even know if the Vikings were necessarily, exposed so much as I do think that the Lions deserve a lot of credit. Those guys play hard. And Aaron Glenn has finally, after this past week, I'm starting to see his name pop up in team requests for coaching interviews. The defensive coordinator of a team with a beaten up defense that's finding ways to make a quarterback who's had the best season of his life see ghosts once again. I mean,
he had that see ghost look in his eye again. You hadn't seen that since that video.
Sam Darnold statistically is actually this year the best quarterback in the league against pressure. And he just didn't know what to do last night.
Yeah, that was the night before. I know.
Yeah, it's now
Monday for us.
It feels like Monday.
Tuesday.
It feels like Monday. Yeah.
No, I'm there, man. I'm there. Donnie, of course, predictably says some tired things. He says, "What time does your team play this weekend, Jeffrey? Let me know. Please, I'm waiting." Same with Cardinals trash fan bases trying to talk smack. I am not a fan base.
Are you going to try and talk
dumbass.
smack to me, Donnie? Are you going
to? Yeah, I'm not a fan base. I'm just a guy. And I went into this thing hoping it's supposed to be the game of the week. And it started out like, hey, this is going to be pretty good.
Oh, yeah. First half.
It ended with me feeling sorry for the Vikings. So there you go. I mean, yeah, I never said my team would be in the playoffs. I never bragged about my team.
You said the opposite of that, I think.
I said my team will not, and I hope they don't even go to a wild card game because they'll be embarrassed there. My team is not good right now. So with this tired old thing that I was hoping a month away from texting in the show, send these texts to the other shows that do what you always accuse everybody of doing. We didn't do that here. We didn't brag about the Cardinals. We didn't brag about the Colts. We've been pleasantly surprised and happy to see the Washington Commandos do well because Keon has had a lifetime of disappointment, like anyone who's known you. So all I can say is go text another show. You're boring me. Devil Hawk says, nice to hear you guys back on the air. You had me worried there for a while. Almost listened to the asshats down the dial. You can choose which station I'm talking about. Well, to us, it's all of them. So
yeah, I actually don't know. I have not listened to any station, any sports station. It's not this one. It's either this or music.
Yeah, they're just nothing down there.
Or a history podcast. I like those.
Don't wander too far from the camp. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, or do. Maybe you'll get a laugh out of it. I don't know.
I haven't found out yet. So
Baker's Cocky Hen says, I entered the Veasan college football contest picking spreads for every game. I'm currently tied for first at 10-0 versus spread, but I think I need to finish perfect to win since I'm tied with 10 others. Wow, that's impressive. Good for you, Baker's Cocky Hens.
That's pretty cool.
Mr. Wilbur says, please tell Pro Dog that Vikes Sholo says game on. Wait, are you Vikes Sholo? Am I reading it right, Mr. Wilbur? Or you're not Vikes Sholo. Pro Dog says Wild Woman 22 is Mrs. Pro Dog. No. Seriously? Is she feral? Because Wild Woman 22, that's okay.
She could just be a really outdoorsy person too, though.
She can just be wild. Maybe she gets liquored up, and then people got to.
It could be read a number of different ways.
Yeah, got to scrape her off the ceiling or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I ain't judging.
Or maybe she gets liquored up and she's a fighter.
Yeah,
that's just catch some hands if you say the wrong thing. You don't know.
Yeah, I ain't looking to catch hands. That's for sure. So yeah, congratulations, Wild Woman 22. Navy Brad says my Vikings did make the road trip, but I guess they didn't want to play. I think they wanted to play. They just got overwhelmed. Wilbur says Vikes Sholo is a dear friend. Do you see them? Do you spend time with them often? Last Optimist says, growing up a fan of the Bears, it was good to see the Bears finally break the 5-year losing streak to the Packers and end up with the same 1-5 division record. Yeah, I mean, that was that game there. They got their quarterback dinged up. They lost Christian Watson, I think, for the rest of the season with the ACL. The Packers paid for that loss, I'll tell you that. And, Aaron Rodgers owned the Bears. And, I feel like Jordan Love just leases them, with an option right now. So, Scratch Me Because says Asshats Down the Dial would be an interesting texter nickname, but we couldn't give that anybody unless they were actually an asshat from down the dial.
That name's reserved for people who will never use it.
Yeah, that's all the thing. They hate us. They hate this show. Anyway, and I'll tell you what, if you work on sports radio and you listen to this show, you can text in and tell me who you are, and I will not say it out loud to the public. I won't out you. I promise on my soul. I would not do that to you. But I guarantee you, nobody is. Nobody from down the dial is listening to this show. Or are they?
It's a great question.
Because we fly in the face of just basic sports talk radio. We don't try to be journalists. We don't try to scoop people. We don't try to pretend like we know more than everybody does. We just pretend to know what we know. Keon, he ain't, shouting at you. He's talking with you. He shouts at us, not at you. Yeah. He shouts at us.
And to the extent I shout at you, I shouted at you like I would shout at any of my friends. I'm from the East Coast. That's kind of how we talk about everything, actually. Whether or not that's healthy is a different question.
Yeah.
But, it's just fun.
There's no egos. There's no, we want to hear our own voices more than we want to hear yours. We are so different from the other sports talk shows. And they look at us and they scoff. They act like we're just dumb jerks, and they don't realize that, this is a better way of doing it. We get to hear from the people we want to hear from the most. It's the people on the text lines, from you guys. It's a big conversation and everybody's invited. Not you, Don. Everybody's thoughts and feelings about things, not Donnie, are welcome here on this text line. So, but yeah, Asshat Down the Dial would be a great texter nickname that nobody ever says they want. Now, if somebody secretly wants to say, "Hey, Jeffrey, I work for this other radio station. I just want you to know this on here." Yeah, let me know. I'm curious. I would be stunned.
I would also be stunned.
I mean, we've got celebrities listening. We got all sorts of people from all walks of life listening.
Including a former general manager of the Washington Commanders, who I think I insulted before I found out he listened to the show.
I don't think he heard that part.
I don't think he did either.
So, if you are down the dial, just let me know. I'm just curious. I won't talk about you. I won't trash you or nothing. I'm just betting that there's nobody. There's nobody. Ringless Joe says, my Lions division ticket, bam, cashed. And I took some of the winnings. I put it on them to win the Super Bowl. I can't even argue with that bet. I can't argue with that as an idea, Ringless Joe.
I mean, half of it seems to have worked out for you already. So,
yeah, I mean, they're unstoppable right now. All right, got tons of text sitting here on the text line. We'll get back to it. We come back. We got a bunch of, so much stuff. I'll be honest, 95% of this is going to be the NFL. Why? We got the injury report. We got the coaching carousel. We've got just basic NFL news and things that are going on. And believe me, there is tons of it. Come on back, everybody. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic. This update brought to you by Sport Trade. Download the Sport Trade app and use code VSIN to earn 10% cash back on every bet in your first week. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
NBA, the Phoenix Suns back in action tonight. They're in Charlotte to take on the Hornets. This wraps up a 3-game road trip. Phoenix beating Philadelphia 109-99 on Monday night. Bradley Beal with 25 points. That snapped the Suns' 4-game losing skid. Tonight, they're a 4.5-point road favorite, minus 185 on the money line. Charlotte plus 155, with the over-under point total at 225.5. The over minus 115, the under minus 105. Phoenix back home on Thursday, hosting the Atlanta Hawks. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. Terms and conditions apply.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8695. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8695. That's 800-575-8695. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
Ever have one of those days where your gut just feels blah?
Ugh, yes.
Occasional bloating or gas could be signs that your gut is out of balance. But Align Probiotic can help. Align 24/7 Digestive Support is a daily use probiotic with a unique strain to help relieve occasional digestive issues. It's the #1 doctor-recommended brand. So when you feel the signs, it's time to try Align. Align Probiotic. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Tom Kelly's carbon fiber mountain bike. Because more than riding his carbon fiber mountain bike, Tom loves telling people about his carbon fiber mountain bike. Friends, family, even a local barista knows about his carbon fiber mountain bike. And that's why Tom's carbon fiber mountain bike, if you haven't heard about it, is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
We put you so close to the game, you can almost smell the sweat.
Ooh, awkward.
GCU basketball is live on the Fanatic.
It's the first road trip of the season as the GCU men's basketball team's in Orem, Utah to take on Utah Valley. Tip times at 6 p.m.
Michael Potter and Paul Coro have the call live for GCU basketball on 1580 The Fanatic and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Dave Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Bat Flipper says my Niners suck. I wouldn't say they suck. You know, got a rough year of injuries, man. Don't be too hard on him. Delicious says, welcome back. Happy Monday on a Tuesday. Needed you guys yesterday after I attended a funeral. We would not be pallbearers. I don't know what you needed us for. I'm not. I have too much pressure. I don't want to be a pallbearer because what if what if I'm the reason the thing goes down? You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't want to be that guy. Nobody wants to be the guy that drops, grandma.
Yeah, that's well, you'll never be invited back to anything. That's for sure.
T-Licious says, no, to help cheer me up. We don't do that kind of thing around here.
Maybe incidentally.
Devil Hawk, wrong station. Wait, how could is he still, where is he on? Did he go down the dial? I'm not going to say who this is on air, but did he go down the dial someplace? Huh. Hamilton Porter says, so today Trump says he wants to absorb Canada. Does that mean we have to embrace Canadian football and curling? I don't think we have to do any of that. No. And then we're probably not going to absorb Canada. I don't think that is the thing that Canada is probably very interested in. But, and here's the other thing I've learned. You can call the Gulf of Mexico whatever you want. You can call it the Gulf of Pee Pee Poopy if you want. It's just whatever people on their maps call it is what matters, because that's why all these different country names. I've learned this recently at this age that we call countries stuff that they don't call themselves.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if we say it's the Gulf of America. It just everybody else is just going to call it whatever they call it.
Yeah, it's a body of water.
Yeah.
Just I don't know what to tell you.
So whatever the case, I'm not worried about it. Pickle D says, I'm Batman. No, you're not. If anybody's Batman, I'm Batman. I don't know how you get to be Batman. I'm Batman. Wilbur says, Keon, does Brock Purdy still have his final year left for the 2025 season? And then, of course, the 49ers need to offer him something. So how much of a discount you think now they're going to get because of his injury? That's not how you get discounts.
Yeah. I first off, I don't imagine you get a discount for that, because what you're essentially paying for with this is, the long-term nature of this player. So you have to determine before you pay him whether or not he's going to hold up. So, I mean, obviously the physical is going to be important there and a lot of other medical things that you might want to look at, but you don't get a discount from that. How do we know this? Dak Prescott got to be one of the top 5 paid quarterbacks in the NFL while he had a broken ankle. Couldn't play a down of football. Yep. Kirk Cousins, wasn't finished rehabbing from his Achilles when he got paid by the Falcons. So we know that dealing with injuries does not exactly make you, it doesn't give you a discount on a player. Not necessarily. Not at that position anyway. So, he does have his last year of his deal left. It's $1.1 million in base salary for him. So, congratulations to Brock Purdy for finally making $1 million in a year from specifically the NFL. That's kind of cool. Outside of that, they're going to have to figure out what to do. This is kind of the season where if you are worried about the injury, you evaluate that very closely this last season and see, is Brock Purdy capable of holding up for multiple games of football, or is this UCL injury going to continue to be a problem for him long term?
So can you protect the Uckle?
There's really not a whole lot you can do about it, because for him, I think it was initially
on the elbow. Where's the Uckle? Where's the Uckle on there?
I believe it is the ligament, that goes from the like if you bend your elbow, it goes from that bottom side between the joint to the top side of the forearm.
Can he wear a brace to protect it or to stabilize it?
He can,
I guess, but
he can really try. Yeah, it's your throwing arm there. And the reason why it even got unsettled in the first place, if you remember, was it got hit while he was throwing the football. So I don't know how you protect that as a quarterback. It just seems like that might be something that kind of haunts him forever.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess we'll see. That's the only thing we can say to that. I guess we'll see. Wilbur says, I would not be surprised if they apply the franchise tag to him for the 2026 season. Maybe.
Yeah, if he's playing well enough and they're just still concerned about the elbow and they want another year, because that would be the big concern with Purdy. It's not about, the mental awareness. He can obviously play the game. He obviously knows how to read a defense pre-snap and post-snap and all the other things that you ask a young quarterback to be able to do. He can do that stuff. It's literally just going to come down to the elbow. If they don't feel comfortable with that, they might slap him with the franchise tag just to keep him in the building and try to negotiate something.
I don't understand what Ringless Joe's saying. He says 7 rings is a number that is mathematically greater than 3 rings.
Is he having a Brady versus Mahomes argument with himself?
Yeah, we weren't even talking about that, man.
Yeah, okay, Patrick Mahomes is partway through his career. And Tom Brady's finished his. When we get to the end of
the next 10 years.
Yeah, we get to the end of Mahomes' career. If he has less than 7, well, then he'll have less than 7.
Swazman says, good to hear you guys back on the air. Thought maybe you jumped ship like Jim Rome did. Hey, Keon, are you guys still going to do the Beat the Book program? It was on today.
Yeah, we did. It was on earlier.
Boy, everybody freaks out. I mean, granted, it was a day where we changed some programming, and so I'm sure that freaked some people out. Now we have, we basically did a trade with another radio station. Even though we didn't have anything to do with them, and they didn't have anything to do with us, we saw the opportunity, and we got Rich Eisen live. Rich Eisen, who is also on our NFL broadcasts and is also on the NFL Network, and well, you know who Rich Eisen is, and he has a great show, and and then somebody else. What was his name? I already forgot. 888-368-1580. So let's talk about basketball briefly because we got a lot of football to talk about. So the Sun Devils, I took a look. How are they doing? It's been hit and miss for them lately, but they've still won 8 of their last 10, but they've lost 2 of their last 4. So it's been back and forth for them. They lost to Florida, they beat Massachusetts, they lost to BYU, but they beat Colorado. So what do you think your feeling is on the current state of the Arizona State Sun Devils?
I do like where they're at this season. I do think that they're playing well. Obviously, you're going to have some of the ups and downs. Like you said, the last 4 games have been a little bit rocky. They've played some tougher competition, and they're starting to play these conference games. And that's really where it's going to get tough because, when we talk about college football and how dominant the SEC is in college football and, to another extent, the Big Ten, those are the teams where we give you a little bit of a pass because those teams are beating up each other in a conference that's tough. The Big 12 is that for basketball. Like you're just going to have, I think, kind of an up and down season, unless you have one of those truly dominant teams, which, ASU can become that, but they have so many young players. They're going to have to get there, I think, over the course of the season. I don't think they're quite there yet.
Also, Grand Canyon University, same. They have won 8 of their last 10. They had a little bit of a slump there with Uga and LT, but after that, they've beaten everybody in front of them. So now, can you say the same nice things about them, or is their schedule a little weaker and it's still a question mark as to what the Grand Canyon Lopes are right now?
Yeah, I think their schedule is just a little bit weaker because when you look at the Western Athletic Conference, no team in the WAC has actually separated themselves. One of the things I think I was afraid of for GCU when they were losing these games early was, well, what if you fall behind in the WAC? Because at that point, the way that they've been playing, their only way to the NCAA tournament now is winning the conference. And then you look at the other teams and you're like, oh, you know what? Everybody's kind of having ups and downs in that conference as well. So when you're dealing with that, you kind of get a little bit of a bailout and a chance to maybe become the dominant team in the WAC. And if you can get yourself rolling in time for March, well, you're back where you want to be.
And the other basketball, the Phoenix Suns, they've only won 2 of their last 10 games, but they did just beat the 76ers. Who are we trading? Somebody's getting traded, right?
Well, I don't know if anybody's getting traded necessarily, but there is some conversation about Yusuf Nurkic. There is some conversation about Bradley Beal. They did shift some things around. Beating the 76ers, I do think actually matters a little bit because Nurkic and Beal came off the bench for that game. And so, it actually allowed for Beal to kind of have his own spot in the offense. And he absolutely just exploded in the third quarter of that game, 14-point third quarter for Bradley Beal, and helped the Suns erase a 12-point deficit going down to the end of the game in a night where, once again, Devin Booker just didn't really shoot the ball that well. So I just think that, having Beal come off the bench kind of stops those guys from stepping on each other's toes. They get into a rhythm. He's much more assertive when he's playing with the second unit. He's not happy about it. He said, look, the coach asked me to, I'm going to do what they asked me to do, but he's clearly not thrilled to be coming off the bench, but the team does look better with him coming off the bench in at least the one game that we have to take a look at it. So I think that this is kind of just what the move has to be moving forward because they do look better when Beal and Booker kind of have their own space separately. And then when they get rolling, now you can play them together. They played a lot of minutes. Beal played starter minutes. He just didn't come out with the original starters on the floor.
Budenholzer's just trying to figure out some configuration to make this all work.
Yeah, and that's really what it is. And of course, Embiid didn't play last night, and so Dylan was telling me that a bit of more of a small ball lineup for the Suns to try and take advantage of a smaller 76ers team. So you end up with also Iguodala having a really good game.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to be able to really. I mean, Embiid being out may have been more of a factor than the way they played Beal.
But
you know what I mean?
Embiid is becoming just a street clothes, and if not more so than Anthony Davis at this point. He's out a lot. So
no, but the point is, we're playing a team that if Embiid had been in, maybe maybe it goes a different way. Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered. So I don't know that we've solved anything here.
I think you have a little bit because they were already losing to bad teams. Like that's where. To me, I'm like, I was starting to get really worried. When you were losing to good teams, that's one thing. When you start losing to bad teams, that's a completely different thing. And so to go out there and play a team that's shorthanded, they were already losing to teams that were shorthanded before. So now maybe you're starting to see them at least be able to feast on these teams that aren't very good. They've got the Hornets tonight. So we'll see if they can
you just have the most positive outlook.
I mean, NBA seasons are long, and you just kind of have to go with the ups and downs of it. I've seen teams have losing streaks where you're trying to figure out, well, what the hell's going on with these guys, and then they figure it out late in the season. I never want to rule anybody out until they've shown themselves to just be absolutely awful. And I don't think the Suns are quite there yet, but it's gut check time. I think these next several games where they've got an easier schedule coming up, win those, get yourself back into the playoff race. And
5 p.m. the Hornets.
Yeah. So, and I believe a shorthanded Hornets team at that. Like, I just think you have to be beating some of these bad teams, if for no other reason than it gives you the chance to get yourself right when you play the tougher teams.
So I would laugh at the Hornets for losing the last 5 in a row if, well,
hold on, because one of those games was the Wizards, so you still can laugh.
A little bit.
The Wizards are the worst team in basketball. It's quite. I mean, I don't know if it's not close.
It'll be nice to see Mikal Bridges again, though. It'll be nice to see him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not really.
Mikal's with the Knicks though, so you're not gonna
wait.
This is Miles.
Miles Bridges. Sorry. Miles. Are they brothers or
cousins? They're not really. I thought they
Not
were
even
actually. I remember saying very confidently on the
Maybe
air that they were related.
to Todd Bridges from Different Strokes. What you talking about, Willis?
No, somehow.
Never had
That's a
that guy.
shame. I don't know.
Anyway, we have a new texter on the text line. 1230 says, "Hey, this is Wild Woman 22. I cannot confirm nor deny allegations regarding being wild after getting liquored up." Sounds like you're admitting that you're wild after getting liquored up.
Well, she cannot confirm nor deny.
She didn't have to confirm nor deny it, but generally the truth is found in your silence. So Wild Woman 22, thanks for listening and being on the text line, and congratulations on your win. We'll be sending an email out to you soon about how to get your prize, but I think your husband already knows how to get the prize. I think he's won a week as well. So, hey, I don't know if this is the first time we've had a husband wife do that, you know?
Yeah, a win. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife is a pretty good game picker as well, you know. She is. T-licious, the text line is starting to malfunction. I'm starting to see everybody's texts from earlier. So, hey, I know. Let's take a break. And we come back. We have 99.9% all NFL to talk about. It's coming into the super duper wild card weekend, by the way. Every single one of those games is on 1580 The Fanatic this weekend. Come on back. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-282-7766. That's 800-282-7766. 800-282-7766.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join Medi-Share and save even more than usual. For many families, joining Medi-Share means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people, obviously. But what's more, Medi-Share members like it a lot. Their satisfaction rate is 98%. Imagine that. And Medi-Share is a proven thing, too. For over 30 years, it's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing. If you join before January 15th and you use the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save even more right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is January 15th. So call now and you'll save even more. Here's the number, 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE.
My pain is considerable, but that prescription is dangerous.
The side effects of my medicine are worse than my condition.
I'm in recovery. I can't take those pills.
When faced with a health crisis, you shouldn't have to choose between risks.
At the Naturopathic Physicians Group in Scottsdale, our medical doctors are experts in full spectrum care using a natural approach. Patients come in for a variety of issues, including joint pain, chronic conditions, and issues specific to men's and women's health. Our naturopathic doctors can restore pain-free joint function and restore balance in immune, digestive, and hormone systems, which often improves immediate physical symptoms without having you take a bunch of pills. If traditional medicines aren't working, don't you think it's time to start feeling like yourself again? Call Naturopathic Physicians Group at 480-451-6161. That's 480-451-6161. Or go to naturopathicgroup.com. In most countries of the world, Porte means door. United Porte Custom Doors, located in the Scottsdale Airport Design District, is now open with over 40,000 European doors, all in stock, ready for delivery, and at wholesale prices. Designers, contractors, builders, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Porte, Porte. Stop by to see and feel the quality at United Porte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
Your home for sports. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Hey, Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. You know, I don't like AI. I don't like AI. I have decided. I finally have decided. I don't care for AI at all. AI. And I can tell when it's an AI video or picture. You're the ones with the owls or the birds, and they're all like, everybody's, oh, that's beautiful. That's AI. You don't. The birds don't do that. You know, and then the people, it's obvious when it's AI. I know that someday it won't be obvious and everybody is going to get fooled, but right now, at least, it's obvious. I don't care for the AI, but I will say this. I would let AI do an extra hour of this show. You know what I'm saying? Like if AI listened to the three of us, Randy and you, maybe throw in an AI Ralph in there. Problem is, it's AI Ralph because it wouldn't be as annoying. But
you just can't beat the real thing.
Right. So if we were able to get AI to do an extra hour of the show, that we didn't have to be, 4 hours, 5 hours, 7 hours. I don't care. Fill the whole station with Blender. I don't even care, but I'm not doing any more than 3. That's for sure. And if I could get away with AI in that third hour, I'd probably do that too.
Makes sense.
They don't have that yet, do they?
I don't think so. They do have like AI voice stuff. I just don't know if it's good enough to where you can ask it to do an hour without anybody noticing.
Yeah, look, we're not good enough for this, so no one's going to notice.
For 30 seconds, AI can probably do an impression of you that's pretty realistic. But after a while, I don't know that AI can be as snarky as you. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like something it would be capable of.
I feel like if you gave an AI the entire catalog of this show, had them go back and I don't know if they listen, watch, whatever these creepy AI bastards do. And if they were to ingest the entirety of the show, which you can find if you want to see it on YouTube, if you want to hear it on Spotify, all the snarkiness that you would need is available. I feel like we should be able to do it.
Yeah.
And if that happens, maybe I'll do 2 hours. Radio Ron's sitting there going, yeah, maybe you'll do no hours. Maybe I won't have to pay for this show.
Oh, no.
And I'd probably be okay with that, too. I'd be like, I might actually listen. I don't even care.
Oh, my God.
Golden Domer says, when's the smack off this year? Well, that happened on Friday when we smacked him off the station. Ringless Joe says, why are the Jacksonville Jaguars even in Jacksonville? Does Florida really need 3 teams? 2 teams that never win anything ever? Again, just more. What does this have to do with it? We're not even talking about that right now.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I think Ringless Joe might be AI.
Ringless Joe is just doing his own show.
Yeah, what is going on with you, Ringless Joe? I want to know. What do you do while listening to this show?
Because it can't be listening to this show.
I wonder if like he's got a bunch of buddies with him, and they get in these conversations. He's like, "Yeah," and he starts texting in part of the conversation he's having with friends. Worse, that he's having with himself. I don't know. So, Drinking with Joe,
it's hard to tell.
Paint us a picture. What are you doing while you listen to the Daily Blender? In fact, you know what? I'd like to hear from everybody on that one. I want to know what everybody's doing when they're listening to this show. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're driving home, you can text me later. Don't text while you're driving.
Now, obviously.
But, you know, if you're at work or if you're at home, you're sitting there drinking or you're in the garage, whatever the case, well, let me know. Hamilton Porter says, who got a worse deal, Gerard Mayo or Antonio Pierce?
Gerard Mayo.
Doug Peterson's deal wasn't great. Listen, we're going to talk about all that here in mere moments.
I guess he means between the two 1-year guys.
Who got a worse deal? Whoever got paid less. They both got fired exactly the same.
Yeah, I don't know who got paid more or less, but I know Mayo was like the heir apparent to that job for a while. Kraft
was probably the worst.
And so like you finally get it. You get 1 year with a roster that's not good.
You're right. Antonio Pierce got a chance that he didn't necessarily deserve, but they're like, you know what? We think you've got moxie.
Yeah, and the players like you, so let's give it a shot.
Gerard Mayo got screwed over. Screwed over. We're going to talk about it in a minute, Hamilton Porter. Hang in there with that. Golden Domer says, can we add a snack off? A snack off featuring Ralph? Hell, we'd all love to be part of a snack off.
That's true.
How would that work? How do you do a snack off? I eat snacks. I love me some snacks. My wife, she found this like little football thing. I don't know if it was Fry's or Safeway. And it had like the sort of not trail mix. It had like the snack mix, like the bar mix.
Oh, yeah.
Oh God, it was good because what it was is some of it was sweet and some of it was like, oh Jesus, spicy, and you never knew, right? And I'm just sitting here, nom, nom, nom. Oh, I love that. And I looked for like, what brand is this? And it said QB. It was like cute, like you named it for quarterback because it was in a football. I hope we can find more of it before it's all gone. Anyways, what was the point? Oh, snack off. Yeah, I can snack like nobody's business. How do you make that a competition? I'm listening. Fundar, the Santa Barbarian, says, according to AI Sports, Shohei Ohtani is expected to lead the Detroit Tigers to a Game 3 victory in the NBA Finals by scoring a hat trick against the Ohio State Buckeyes on Thursday morning. That does sound right. It also sounds about like the sports knowledge of this show. So, Devil Hawk, I don't know if I'm even supposed to say anything about that. So, I don't know. You'd have to Google that, I guess. He never did answer if you heard him on a different station. I don't think he's on a different station. Killer Rabbit says it's 5:48 p.m. here in North Carolina. I always drink beers in my patio and I listen. By the way, congratulations, Horton Ninjas, for championship in Blender 6. Killer Rabbit in the North Carolina. Yeah. Say hi to my mom for me, but stay away from my mom. All right. So one other thing before we get to the footballs, before we start talking about all the football stuff, LeBron James has broken Michael Jordan's 30-point game record. So there's another record down. It was his 563rd career 30-point game. And so now he has one more than Michael Jordan. Now, as Anthony Davis did bring up, took him a lot more games to do it than Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan did it in 1,072 games in 15 seasons. LeBron James, it took 1,523 games throughout 22 seasons. So it took LeBron James way longer, a third longer, to reach Michael Jordan's record. Does that help quiet some of the people who want to say LeBron James is the GOAT when Michael Jordan is kind of still over there being the GOAT?
I mean, well, no, you're never going to get those people to really quiet down because people have picked a side already. They've already decided, and you can also.
But this is a good example.
It's a very good example. I just use my eyes, to be honest. It's not that I don't think LeBron's great because I have LeBron
Oh yeah,
firmly at number 2 on my list.
I ain't saying he's not a beast, I ain't saying he's not great.
They're different kinds of players, and so like they're just going to be records that are just more toward what Jordan's skill set was. But when you just look at Michael Jordan, for me, I can't help it. I look at the highlights of both guys just on YouTube. If I get bored, I just pull up a Michael Jordan highlight video. I just cannot shake the feeling looking at Michael Jordan that that's not the best basketball player I've ever seen play the game in my life. I just can't. I don't know what to do with that. Yeah. So, I mean, even if LeBron eclipsed every Michael Jordan number, Michael Jordan played 13 years, and there were 13 damn good years where, LeBron had an insane run. I mean, I think he went to 10 straight NBA finals or something like that. But there were years where LeBron he didn't know how to win. He didn't come into the league with that knowledge. Right. And then,
we knew Michael Jordan was like, oh, something's going on there.
Yeah.
And by the way, he played 15 seasons. Don't forget, he came back and did some crappy teams. But, 15 seasons for Jordan, 22 for LeBron. 7 more years.
Yeah. Like which is just a testament to how great Jordan was. And I do think that, even when Michael Jordan came back and was older and was playing with the Wizards, I became a Wizards fan watching Michael Jordan. He had a 50-point game as in his 40s, like that's still, he wasn't Air Jordan at that point, but that was still an amazing basketball player. And he was still Mike Jordan. And you could talk to any of the NBA guys that were playing with him, even as a Wizard. They were scared of him then.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's great when you've got guys like this, and then comparing is probably not fair because, and by the way, again, I'll bring up this part. LeBron James is playing in a time where, you can't touch anybody.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan did it at a time where you were getting mugged and roughed up every single night. So
every night, and the rules allowed it. I mean, the hand check rule, which LeBron has never experienced in his life, should tell you. Not so. Do I think LeBron could have still been great in that era? Yeah, wouldn't be this.
So all right, LeBron James, through sheer attrition of time, has taken down another record. Hooray. Okay, whatever. Moving on. Thundar the San Riverian says, I usually listen on YouTube here in Central California while I'm grading or lesson planning, but it's winter break now, so I got to do all that grading. That's cool, man. That's cool.
Nice.
I think it's funny that we're hearing from both coasts.
Yeah.
Nobody in Arizona is telling us anything.
They're telling us what you're doing. We're coast to coast, though. We'll take that.
I guess we're a syndicated show and don't even know it. Hamilton Porter says the game also softened and LeBron's career went on to cater to him. Yes, I think we just covered that. He said, by the way, what? See, that's very cynical. He says, saw the Pats got their Rooney Rule interview done with Brian Leftwich. Honestly, could be a decent hire. Why are you so cynical saying it's just a Rooney Rule? It sounds almost more like you're insulting Brian Leftwich when you say that.
Because Byron Leftwich is actually on a number of teams' interview lists. He's on the Jaguars interview list, and the Jaguars interview list also includes Aaron Glenn, another black coach. So I don't know that he necessarily
one of the first men to walk on the moon.
Different Aaron Glenn. This is the defensive coordinator of the Lions.
I told you I don't see color.
Well, the NFL does, so
they do.
the NFL kind of does, so don't know what to tell you there.
So here's the thing. I think we all know who's going to end up coaching for the Patriots. I'm saying, Brian Leftwich, perfectly capable of doing it, but I unless he doesn't want to, you know who I'm thinking.
I don't know if I am.
Mike Vrabel.
I mean, Vrabel.
I think they want Vrabel.
I think they want Vrabel, but
I don't know that Vrabel wants them because he's been there. He's seen some things, and maybe he doesn't want to do it that way.
Yeah, and there's some jobs open that I think I like Vrabel for the Bears. I think that just suits him a lot. You could play in a city that would appreciate you building a great defense, which he's done before. And then, if he's able to hire the right offensive coordinator for his young quarterback, you might have something special.
A lot of this is all about the coordinators, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Hamlin Porter says Brian Leftwich will always be the guy to me that won a bowl game with a broken leg. Here, toasting that. He said, you could always change the name of the show to Coast Sports with Jeffrey O'Brien. What am I, Art Bell? No, it's just the Daily Blender. It's always been that. Okay?
Ghosts on your sideline.
We're talking nothing but NFL when we come back. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. Terms and conditions apply.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8695. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8695. That's 800-575-8695. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hi, guys. Jeffrey O'Brien here. Have you ever gone to HarmonSolar.com? Well, you really need to, because everything you ever wanted to know about how solar power can save you big on your monthly electric bill is right there. It's online. Through your phone or through your computer, you can learn about tax credits, the equipment they use, look at how they do things for businesses as well as homeowners, see testimonials from happy customers, and I hear they got a pretty good podcast, too. Check it out. Go to HarmonSolar.com. That's HarmonSolar.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Now open in Scottsdale. It's United Forte Custom Door Showroom with 40,000 euro doors and hundreds of state-of-the-art designs and finishes on display, plus kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and more, all at wholesale prices. Builders, contractors, designers, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Forte, P-O-R-T-E. Stop by to see and feel the quality. United Forte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down.
Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 4 o'clock here on the Daily Blender, and your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, alongside not Randy White. He'll be back tomorrow, but we got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, broadcasting live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. All right, let me give you the rundown for Super Duper Wild Card Weekend. I know I'm the only one that calls it Super Duper, but how do you say super without some duper?
Exactly.
When it's Wild Card Weekend.
I'll join you on that.
Everybody else is wrong. That's all I'm going to say. But so here's your Super Duper Wild Card Weekend here on 1580 The Fanatic at 2 p.m. on Saturday. Got the Chargers at the Texans. And then at 6 p.m., you got the Steelers at the Ravens. Maybe I don't know. You think it'll be good football? I don't know if it's going to be good football.
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
I mean, just because it's a AFC North battle. It's two teams that hate each other. They have a playoff history that goes back a long way. I mean,
Chargers and the
Tomlin,
Texans?
Okay, I feel less good about that one. But
I thought you were talking about that one. I was like, I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, no.
No, so you're talking Steelers Ravens.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. But Texans Chargers could be fun, but I mean it depends on a lot, and you'd have to get the best version of both teams. Otherwise, we might be watching something.
I get some stuff done in the morning that day.
Yeah.
And if I'm not home on time, it's okay. But so Chargers and Texans, that's also on CBS. Steelers and Ravens, you got to have Amazon Prime to watch that one. So, sorry if you don't have that. Sunday, Broncos at the Bills. I think that'll be a fun game. I do think that'll be a fun game.
I mean, one of the league's best defenses against Josh Allen, one of the best offensive weapons in football. I mean, I don't know that you could build a better matchup of offense versus defense in the AFC.
Packers and Eagles, that will be just the Eagles are going to destroy the Packers. That's all I can say.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't think that's going to be a great game.
We'll see. First off, I think you have to have Jalen Hurts out of the concussion protocol, because if Kenny Pickett's rolling out there, you do.
You know who runs the ball for that squad, right?
You know what Green Bay's defense is?
Saquon Barkley. That's Saquon Barkley. I'm sorry.
The Packers have a fantastic defense. That's not okay, but you can't run it every play. And so if Kenny Pickett has to throw the ball, I don't feel like the Eagles are going to destroy anything.
Can Kenny Pickett run the ball?
Not like Jalen Hurts.
Well, they should have got a better backup.
The reason, I mean, the Eagles were well on their way to just pounding the Commanders into dust. And then Jalen Hurts gets the concussion and the Commanders come back and win the game.
Well, I know he's currently still in concussion protocol. This seems like a long time.
Yeah, because each concussion is different. And so they're, this one, he's as far as I understand it, he's caught on step 3 of that concussion protocol, which is you have to be able to do a half an hour of cardio or something like that without any symptoms. And he continues to have symptoms. So they don't know why, but they can't play him until he gets past that point, and then step 4.
Well, hopefully he'll be all right in time for this game. They sure could use him. Then 6 p.m. on Sunday night, Commandos and the Buccaneers. Now that will be a good game.
No defense is going to be played that day, though.
You may not feel like it's a good game, but I think that will be a good game.
Oh, no, it's going to be Texas and ASU all over again, in that I am basically going to be my white knuckling my chair for the entirety of that game and probably drinking very heavily the closer we get to the end of it.
You have any foam bricks? Remember those little TV bricks?
TV bricks.
Yeah, remember those? You should get one.
It's because I haven't been mad at them lately. They don't make me upset. I'm just terrified that they're not going to win games sometimes. And
just remember, whatever happens, this is a better season than you thought you'd get.
Yeah.
And that you've had ever.
I'm not asking for a deep playoff run.
And there is still a very bright and hopeful future.
And incredibly. And I'm excited about it. And I'm not even trying to get too greedy. I just ask the universe for one playoff win so that we can get off of the longest time without a playoff win list. Reset that clock, please, because it's been 18 years and I'm tired of seeing it. And it's going to be 19 by the time we get to next season.
Well, and when you get to Monday, I don't think that'll be great. Vikings will probably stomp the hell out of the Rams. They're pissed. And while I think they're a bit fraudulent after what I saw with the Lions, I think that they are infinitely a better squad than the Los Angeles Rams.
I am not ready to say that the Vikings are fraudulent on one game.
I just like doing it because it pisses me off.
Well, okay, that's fair. But they're going up against a Rams team where the defense, if this game happened in week 3 of the season, the Rams absolutely the Vikings ripped the Rams in half, and don't even worry about it. But I do think that the Rams play defense at a high enough level, and Jared Verse has absolutely shown up as one of the best defensive rookies in this draft. I don't know that this is a Vikings ripping the Rams apart kind of game.
I think there'll be a new one, if you know what I mean. So, of course, all of these games are on 1580 The Fanatic, but for the television, Broncos and Bills are on CBS, Packers and Eagles are on Fox, Commandos and Buccaneers are on NBC, Peacock, if you forgot to get rid of your subscription like I did. Vikings and Rams are on ESPN and ABC. So there you go. That's the lineup there. Got a lot of texts on the text line. Let's get to it. Devilhawk says, I didn't realize the concussion protocol was similar to the 12-step Alcoholics Anonymous program. I also got stuck on step 3.
It's a little less conscious than that, though, is the thing.
Pickle D, you know what? That is brilliant. That is smart. I was going to bring some of that up. I'll say, well, we're going to talk about it here. By the way, what do you want to talk about first? The coaching carousel, basic NFL news, injury report. How do you want to start this thing?
I mean, I've been reading coaching carousel stuff all day, so if we start there, I'm more than happy to go there.
All right, I got to grab that chunk. Here we go. All right, got it. We'll do that. Pickle D says Vrabel to the Raiders with the Brady ties. You know, it's interesting you say that because just a little bit ago, the Raiders fired Antonio Pierce, and they also said, yeah, Tom Brady's going to be involved in the coaching search because he's a part owner of the Raiders. And now you talk about Vrabel, it's like, you might be 100% right.
Now, I would like that for the Raiders too.
He fits the Raiders. He's a tough guy.
He's a tough guy, and that team, the part of it that really works is at least that defensive line. Like he's got something to start with on the side of the ball that he's a specialist in, and we saw what he did when he was at Tennessee. He built a damn good defense over there. So I'd love to see what kind of stuff he's able to do with Max Crosby and some of the guys they have on that squad. And then if you could just get him a quarterback, that's really the issue with the Raiders.
Yeah. So Pickle D, I wouldn't be surprised if you're right. I wouldn't be surprised. Hamilton Porter says, you're right, Keon. It will never happen, but I just want my Lions to keep both coordinators. So, ignore those interviews. Yeah, I know, man. And that's the thing. I've for years been watching this, that they fire the coach, right? And then so everybody's looking for a coach. And then like, we won the Super Bowl. And like, you want to keep the squad together. If I'm a coach and my team win, or even if we have a good season, I'm like, I don't want to lose my OC or my DC. I don't want to lose these guys as a part of what got us here. And that's why the only time I've ever seen it averted was at the cost of the Colts. And then later I was very glad it did. But when the Colts were hiring Josh, who was that little douchebag that stood us up? Josh McDaniel. Yeah, I forgot his name.
There's a lot of McDaniels going around, but yeah. Him.
So and then so he's like, yeah, I'll be your coach. And then old Bob Kraft walks in and plumps a big old bag of money on his desk and says, why don't you stay here? And he's like, oh, hell yeah. And then later on, it turned out he'd been a horrible head coach. I dodged a bullet, but still never feels good to be jilted. So anyway, that's the only time I've ever seen coordinators corralled. I'm sure it's happened other places.
Yeah,
but
and last year with
why
Detroit,
aren't they doing this more often?
I think they try to, but these coordinators want their opportunities to be head coaches too, and you don't get those opportunities all the time. Sometimes opportunity knocks, and that's the opportunity that you get, the one chance to be a head coach. I mean, even look at a guy, Houston Texans offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick. He was one of the hot candidates from a year ago, and then DeMeco Ryans gets the owner to give him a raise essentially to stay and be the offensive coordinator there. But the Texans have clearly taken a step back offensively. And now are people interested in Bobby Slowick still? Yeah. Like his offense is still really, really good, but the Texans dealt with a lot of injuries and they weren't as dynamic, and he does get some of the blame for that too. So he's not as big a candidate this year. He's not as likely to get hired. He would have been absolutely hired a year ago if he wanted to go. So I think that there are certain coordinators that go, you might offer me a raise, I might still go because this might be my one shot to be an NFL head coach.
I hear you, but still, it bums me out a little bit. That's
yeah. But you also have guys like Ben Johnson who they didn't even give him a raise. Ben Johnson just said no. I think there's still more to do here in Detroit. I want to finish this job. So it goes both ways sometimes.
Kiss the Cook says, what I do while I'm listening to this show, I'm on the golf course or I'm picking up the kids from school or I'm mise in place before starting cooking. I don't know what he's saying. He says, by the way, I will not do Blender AI before it's time, but Ralph's intelligence, you can tell it was artificial. The Jet says, Jeffrey, my beloved Cardinals player Colts next year. Are you all drunk? I think he's meaning to say, yes, I know. We're playing the Cardinals, but it's a home game for the Colts. He says, I think we should have a bet. No. I ain't betting. on a team I don't believe in. I don't believe in my Colts. They got to change something. But guess what? They're changing nothing where it kind of matters. I'm going to get to that in a second. So no, there will be no bet. Elzar of the Mountain says, "Hey guys, I'm truly glad you're still there. Was kind of worried with the switch to Rich Eisen and not hearing you yesterday." Yeah, we know.
The timing of that could have been better.
That's the kind of weirdness we kind of enjoy, actually. So sorry. T. Licious says, "Well, for the first hour I listen at work. The second hour is on my way home. I don't usually listen to hour 3, due to my after work nap." No, I 100% agree. Yeah. I don't know you're missing anything in that hour, but if you are, you're missing it. Big George says, hold on here. I clicked the button. What happened? Big George says, "Karma's a bitch. Antonio Pierce, glad to see him get poop canned after what he did at ASU, causing us to get NCAA sanctions and Noel eligibility. I just need to get payback from Herm Edwards over at ESPN." Dude, that's just kind of a toxic place to be. You know what I'm saying? Whatever happened. That's in the past. We got a good team and Kenny Dillingham and all that. It's all positive. Just let it go.
And the Pierce stuff led to the cleaning of the house that led to Dillingham. So, just roll with it.
Happy Taco Tuesday, George. Hefty Lefty says, "Yes, Colts dodged a bullet for sure. Sincerely, Raiders and Broncos fans."
Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I just noticed Hefty Lefty has been hold on here. There it is. Sorry, I thought those were from today. Thundar San Barbarian says, "As a Broncos fan, I'd say your Colts got lucky getting out of Josh McDaniels." Another Broncos fan, yeah. And let's see. Moist One says, "Look at Lou and Rumo."
Oh God, who does he coach for? I think just off the top of Cincinnati. Cincinnati defensive coordinator. He's really good too. I mean, not that Cincinnati's defense is good, but it's not his fault he doesn't actually have players in his secondary. The players he has that are great are all going to be Pro Bowlers. The players that he has that aren't, well, it's not his fault that they aren't. He didn't draft them.
The Jet says, "Wow, Jeffrey, you chicken?" No, I'm just not stupid. I'm not going to waste my money on a bet that I don't think I can win. I don't know. I don't know what the team looks like. Let's make that bet, once, we're starting the next season. I don't know what my team is. I know they're probably they probably would lose to the Cardinals right now. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't have faith in my offense at all. So Bullseye says, "I heard the Chicago Bears are interviewing Cardinals offensive coordinator Drew Petzing. Bears better back off. That's our guy." That dude looks like, I don't know, like he looks like a Disney villain.
Now I just have to Google him because
I mean,
I was trying to remember what his face looked like in the very first Google image, at least the one that popped up for me, because I know it's different for a lot of people. It's the eyebrows, I think. He's bald, and it's the eyebrows in addition to that just
I'm right.
You can't not see it now.
Yep. He's a Disney villain.
When he furrows his eyebrows to try and look serious, he looks like a cartoon. Yeah.
Just the entire, I mean, I'm sure he's, I just Suffering A's fan says, been the biggest issues of the 49ers. They've had coordinators constantly hired away.
Yeah, that's part of it. I mean,
that hurts.
Continuity is very important in the NFL, and when you're successful, it's actually harder to maintain it.
Big George is calming down. He says, "You know what, Keon, you're right. I like your thinking. 100% correct. If it weren't for Antonio Pierce, we wouldn't have Kenny Dillingham. We should send Antonio Pierce a fruit basket or something." You go ahead, man. I'm all tapped out on spending money on gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Bat Flipper says, "I listen to the show while driving home, and when I get home, I listen while having some drinks. You finally found someone, Keon, who loves sports and compliments you and Randy, Jeffrey. He has yet to compliment us. I have not gotten any compliments. So I don't know.
Your hat looks very nice today.
No, it's the first one.
Yeah,
so it's like
we're working on it.
Kind of feels funny.
We're working
now.
on it. It's just
like I had to ask
New
for
Year's
it.
resolution. We're working towards something.
Yeah. Maybe don't. Tio says, what the hell happened to y'all yesterday? We all got the hiccups. He also says Anarumo just got fired as the Cincinnati defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I just saw that. And he's still a pretty hot commodity as far as people wanting to interview him for a coaching job. Because I think a lot of people believe, and I think me too, that the Cincinnati defense wasn't solely his fault. They don't have good players on that side of the ball.
Mm-hmm. Moist One says, Lou got fired and it was a head coaching candidate the past couple of years. Hefty Lefty says, Petzig looks like a Temu Jeff Bezos. That's good. That is good. You are correct, Hefty Lefty.
Oh, man.
Pickle D says, Colts play the Falcons as well. Interested in a wager on that? Stop it. I'm not wagering anything until I know what my team looks like next year. That's just not dumb. I'm not such a homer that I'm like, oh, my Colts are going to kick your ass. My Colts couldn't beat the Giants. You really want me to make a bet right now? Shut up. Love you, mean it. Rainy City Bitch Pigeon says, seems like most of the dust is settled. Do you guys think there'll be another head coach fired this year? Maybe. I mean, I was surprised at how long they waited on some, and yeah, some owners like to wait till the end of the season. Like if the season's already down the toilet, we've won 3 games and it's week 15. Are we really helping anything by firing the guy now? Let's just wait till the end of the season and then we'll sort things out. Let me catch up on the text line here. And then I got a dumb question. I'll ask after the break, but Silver Pops says Petzing looks like Beaky Buzzard, the cartoon. Look at the text line. Go ahead. Go back and look at that. Oh no. That's actually pretty good, Bullseye. I mean, just from my memory, that already sounds amazing. Bullseye says Drew Petzing does look a little bit like Jafar. Just give him a staff and a goatee, and he's the guy from Aladdin. The Jet says, I listen to the show while I'm showing homes. I may or may not have clients in my truck when I'm texting you. I'm sure they love that attention that you give them. T-Licious says, the only thing I'm going to send to Antonio Pierce is a flaming bag of poop. Jeez, T-Licious. Tioa says, is Rainy City Bitch Pigeon Ralph's texter nickname? No, it's a complete other person. And I think they let us call him that. I don't know if they chose it. But Hefty Lefty says, speaking of bets on the Colts, I owe you a cherry pie, Jeffrey. I haven't forgotten. My fat ass remembers when baked goods are involved. Why do you owe me a cherry pie? I don't remember, because Broncos beat the Colts this year, didn't they? That's true. What was our bet? I don't even remember our bet. Had to be about something else. Latina Leprechaun says, I was surprised how non-black Black Monday was. Only guy fired yesterday was Peterson from the Jags. Not sure why the Raiders waited until today to fire Pierce. I don't think she's talking race. I think she's saying she's surprised more coaches didn't get fired. At first, I was trying to navigate that text with my brain going, is she talking about how Antonio Pierce is? Because Gerard Mayo. Because I remember whatever year it was where Brian Flores got fired. Right. It was like a bunch of black coaches got fired that year. And I was like, oh, that's a very Black Monday. That is not. Oh, no. I will throw this little log on the racial fire. And that is black coaches that struggled. They usually get 1 year, huh? I mean, Antonio Pierce got 2, so that you can't make that sort of argument. But wait, did Antonio Pierce get 2? Because he was interim, and then I mean, I guess, and then Gerard Mayo obviously got the 1 after being promised the job. Just saying, it's not a good look. Don't know. Yeah, well. Whistle Grande says, don't ask me why, but I like to listen to you guys during my happy hour after work. Well, I'm not going to ask why. We're just glad somebody likes listening to us. Yeah. I'm not going to argue with you about it. Hefty Lefty says, no, it was from last year, the year before. All right. I like pie. Devil Hawk says, I wonder if that one texter who has clients in his car as he's showing houses has actually closed a deal because of the show. If so, I think Jeffrey and Keon should get a commission. I agree. I also agree. But he'll never admit to it now. Yeah.
And I wouldn't expect him to. I wouldn't either.
Yeah. I never get commissions. All right, must take a break. We come back. We're going to talk about the coaching carousel. We got a big stack of stuff to do here. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Sports betting apps are not created equal. Dylan Cohen from Beat the Book here to talk about the Sport Trade advantage. With higher payouts, Sport Trade is the ultimate sports betting experience. Sport Trade is the first sports betting app that gives you the option to see the odds expressed as probabilities, and it's changing in-game betting forever. If it's easier to understand 52% probability of winning versus minus 108 odds, then Sport Trade is for you. With this percent odds feature, cashing out now makes much more sense. As the win probability changes, so does the value of your bet. And if you're an experienced bettor and prefer American odds, you'll get pricing closer to minus 106 versus the normal minus 110, coupled with instant in-play betting. No more spinny wheels. So download Sport Trade today to see the difference and beat the book. Use promo code 1580 to earn 10% cash back on every bet you place in your first week. Terms apply.
Sport Trade is regulated by the Arizona Department of Gaming. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
We all know just because gifts for loved ones can look like flowers, a spa day, or maybe even planning date night. But what about something that will truly last and protect your loved ones along the way? I'm talking about life insurance. I called SelectQuote to secure our coverage and couldn't believe how easy and affordable it was. I'm 40, and my $500,000 policy was only $16 a month. My husband's also 40, and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. And with their same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. With monthly payments less than the cost of a bouquet of flowers, this is the perfect time to make sure your family is protected.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-596-2626 or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-596-2626. 1-800-596-2626. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. ¿Vos está pronto?
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com, Babbel.com.
Saturday, it's NFL football on the Fanatic.
It's defense against offense when the Chargers line up against the Texans this Saturday at 2 p.m. The Bolts defense gave up a stingy 17.7 points per game during the regular season. The Texans, however, look to revive that stat when Nico Collins and C.J. Stroud team up for some high-flying offense. It's Chargers at Texans, Saturday at 2, live.
Your home for live NFL action, the playoffs, and Super Bowl 59. 1580 The Fanatic.
Today, Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Killer Rabbit says, why does the NFL use the word fired? It's so mean. Can't they use the words separated ways or let go? I mean, I don't think they used the word fired, did they? I mean,
I don't think
they just
that's
say,
the word
he
they
ain't here
use.
no more.
Yeah, but also there are coaches that like the feeling is mutual. That's usually when you get the parted ways. The team is like, get out of here, and the coach is like, yeah, no, I'm also okay with this. But if a coach didn't plan on leaving, you got fired.
You're fired. If you leave, it's bye. That's how it works. Pickle D says, I think Mayo got the boot because he refused to tank and get that number one pick.
I don't know because they were pretty bad all year. And about a month ago, you heard the reports that Robert Kraft was not happy with the direction that the organization was headed in. And it wasn't because they were winning.
Moist One says, I also have clients in my car. You. Whistling Gerbil says, Vrabel to Vegas. You know, I'm starting to think that's probably going to be it. I wouldn't be surprised with the Tom Brady connection. And he fits that culture too, or at least what the culture is supposed to be. Latina Leprechaun says, no, I didn't mean anything racial by that text. Black Monday, people getting fired, not skin color. Maybe they should rename it to Red Monday, since red is Usually negative in business. Black is good. You're in the black. She's got to be white, right?
It does. You you are sounding more leprechaun than Latino right now with how you are backpedaling. That's the only way I can describe that.
Well, you know that. I mean, I believe her, but that backpedaling, there's been that moment of care for many white people who are like, "I didn't mean it like that." Please don't bother it.
And then I sit there and go, "How guilty can I make you feel right now?"
Have fun with it. Sorry, girl. I'm so sorry. We shouldn't have done that.
You're good. We know what you meant.
Oh my god. Let's see here. Jet says usually he gets crickets when he has the show. He says, but I've turned quite a few people onto your show, and I can tell you their text or nicknames. So usually it's crickets, but sometimes they go, "Hey, nice show you've got there. We don't want the house from you because we don't trust you, but this radio show,
we'll keep that. We'll take that."
Sorry, you don't get a commission for that. Walter Mellon says, I've only seen this on Instagram, but there's people teasing that John Gruden could be back in the circulation for Coach Talk. Do you guys think there's a shot he could ever get a coach again? I doubt it.
I doubt it too.
So much baggage, and there'd be a backlash.
John Gruden is currently breaking down games on his YouTube channel because he is not going to ever be on TV again. I don't know if you can go from YouTube back to the NFL, and it's not like, I mean, the guy clearly still loves football, but like if they won't put you on TV on the ESPN or on Fox Sports 1, and like Fox Sports 1 will hire anybody because they hired Paul Pierce, then you're probably not coaching,
right,
for the same reasons.
Yeah, John Gruden is one of those things where I was scrolling through and I was like, oh yeah, look at that old John Gruden. I'm like, what the hell's he doing here? And then I start listening to him, and he just starts randomly talking about some quarterbacks, or he was talking about some teams. And at first I was just like, yeah, you're that racist guy. And I couldn't, I was like, yeah, what am I doing here? Click. I just couldn't, I mean, just don't think there's any room for someone like that, man. Let's see here. Silver Pop says, I listened to the show all week for the entirety. Only exception is Thursday when you guys talk fantasy football. Nothing again, Mr. the King, nothing against him. I just, it just sounds awful the way Ralph is always groveling at his feet because he's a Seahawks fan too. Well, we're probably going to have Mr. the King do something with us soon, but it's not fantasy football. But now you don't have to worry about that till next September, Silver Pops. So I don't know why anybody listens to this in its entirety. Hell, I can only take so much. Ringless Joe says, getting swept by the Vikings and the Lions, then losing to the Bears has mind broken my Packers fan coworker over here.
I mean, that division is brutal. It's just brutal. It's crazy to me that you can be an 11-win football team and be the last seed in the playoffs. That would be the one argument I think I would have against anybody who wants the Bears job.
Your coworker is not going to be any fun to be around on Monday. Just want you to know that, Ringless Joe. Moist One says, hey, maybe they should call it Hot Fudge Monday. No. T-Licious says, time for dinner, then a nap, and I'll probably miss the rest of the show. Oh, he's got a bunch of hungry Howies there. Let's
nice.
See. 2 pizzas and I think some breadsticks. What's in the other box?
Their wings are all right too.
I don't care. I like hungry
pricey,
Howies.
but nice, tasty.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't had it in so long though because they're over there in Tempe. I don't think there's one around me, but I like how they do their crust.
Yeah, there's one close-ish to me in Mesa. Tasty.
Yeah, what's in the box? What's in the box? The Jet says Silver Pops listens all week. So what is that? About 8 hours of his time. I don't understand what the hell you're saying. It's 15 hours, except for when things happen. So, Last Optimist says, well, we found out this weekend FS1 will hire anyone on their knees. Maybe Gruden wasn't into that. Oh, geez. You know what? We're not talking about that. I stumbled into that. Do you know what he's talking about? Joy Taylor Skip Bayless. There's a hairdresser over there who is accusing him of sexual harassment. Joy Taylor of some hanky panky with the producer. Just it's like,
I don't know anything about that. No.
I have some questions about all of that myself, Last Optimist. We'll talk about that later. It doesn't matter because that show's canceled and that's FS1's problem. Latina Leprechaun says, I should pause on the texting. I get myself in trouble like this. Just like with my cheerleading story that I will never live down. If you quit bringing it up, we might forget.
I literally have forgotten every single time you've brought it up. And the only reason I know it is because you keep bringing it up.
Yeah. Another new texter on the text line, 3186 says, Gruden just signed a deal with Barstool Sports. Oh, yeah, no, we know about that.
Okay. But
I know about it. Just who cares?
That's also not the same thing as being on like a major network. And
right.
Like Barstool that's precisely the kind of act they have.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, 3186, who the hell are you? Nice to meet you. Pickle D says, any chance the Titans or the Browns try to lure Dion away and promise to draft Shedeur?
He's not leaving Colorado for any of those jobs.
And I think we could probably say Belichick's not leaving either. People are just supposing, well, what if somebody decided to pay off that $10 million and to the Patriots and get them some Bill Belichick? Do you think Bill Belichick would walk away from that college program he just committed to coach an NFL team? I don't think he would.
I don't think he would either.
Not at this point in his life.
No, he didn't even wait for the jobs to open. Like that's the thing that tells me he's not really interested in the NFL, because I think there's a level of control he wants to have over his program. They give college coaches that. You get to have that. And I think the same is true for Dion. Like if you really want to have control over an organization, college is kind of where it's at.
Sorry, I got distracted. T-Licious says it's cheesy bread and garlic crust is life.
Oh, man.
Got to get me some of that. Ringless Joe says, even if the Packers win against a Hurtsless or Rusty Hurts Eagles, they'll just go back to Detroit and get mauled by Jared Goff again. Yeah, probably. It's just going to be the Eagles. Man, if they lose, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready. It's only Tuesday. Let's worry about this on Friday. Silver Pop says he's listening at work. The Jet says, Joy Taylor's hot. I'd hire her. Yeah, of course you would, but for the wrong reasons. And I don't know. I don't think she's that hot. I mean, she's okay. She just,
I think she's very hot, but that's not. Yeah, what difference? I don't know. Like, to me, it's like if you can do the job, you can do the job. And then being hot is secondary to that.
Yeah, it's really, her voice is a little grating. That's the thing. Like when she gets in, she starts really getting in there and they're talking and stuff. That is usually like, that voice.
Oh, I don't know. I don't really, that doesn't really bother me, but
a little nasally. Kind of. Those things, no, listen, in my past, a woman with a bad voice I was sitting there once with, we were auditioning, we were casting for a part in a TV show. And I just happened to be sitting there as I was helping make the decisions. And this girl comes in, she's beautiful. I was like, oh my God. I was young. I was like 20. I was like, oh my gosh. And then she spoke. She had a voice. And I'm like, yeah. Couldn't cast her with that voice either. But that was my first ex-wife. If she hadn't talked, that voice, it gets to me. Can't do it. Now I'm not saying Joy Taylor has a voice that bad.
Yeah, like to me, as long as you don't sound like an actual chipmunk, or I guess on the male side of things, Pharrell.
Pharrell on the bench.
Oh God. No, can't do that.
He does a lot of betting stuff. Oh, Pharrell.
No, yeah. That's actually some of the first betting stuff I ever heard in my life. And, I was like a radio nerd. I listened to his show all the time when I was like in college. But
my favorite was when he would do his ads, the O'Reilly Auto Parts. Yeah.
But like, you listen to that show.
Is Pharrell's voice is like dropping your keys into a running garbage disposal. That's Pharrell's voice.
Yeah, and he leaned into it and made a career out of it. Good for him. But also, like, you listen to that show in 10-minute increments. You can't You can't listen to that for 15 minutes or more.
Mm-hmm. No, you're not wrong.
Lose your hearing.
Well, Jet, let's talk about that mess later. We'll talk about that mess with the lawsuit and stuff later. We're talking about this now. Bat Flipper says, wow, and Ish hits the fan like Latina Leprechaun. Yes, it is best to be quiet. Oh, I see what you did there. Against the Spread says, yo, fellas, why wasn't the Daily Blender on the air yesterday? Told you we had hiccups. He says, I could care less about the Jim Rome, but I was worried you guys got gacked. I wasn't able to send in my North Dakota State money line pick yesterday because you guys weren't on the air. Odds makers never should have had the Bison as dogs against a Montana State team that beaten nobody all season long. But hey, listen, I like the Suns to cover -4 tonight because Beal is coming off the bench. Suns are plus 9 point differential with Beal off the floor and -3 with him on it. Book and him usually basically play the same spot. Okay.
The thing is that they started
Suns
playing
to cover on 4.
They started playing together last night. They didn't start together, but at a certain point in the game, they were just playing that third quarter. Like Booker was out there too. There's something about at least getting them started separately. There's something to that.
Pickle D says it's Taco Tuesday. I'm going to go with the rolled tacos and cheese and guac from Phil B's. Phil Bertos. All I have to say to that is, here, kitty, 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 kitty. I was driving by, I bleep you not, I was driving by the Phil Bertos and a cat came running in front of my car.
Help! Help!
Yeah. I had a look on his face like, I've seen things, man. I got to get out of here. If I'd have slowed down, he'd have jumped in. I ain't kidding. That cat was scared. Killer Rabbit says, Eagles, time to bring back Nick Foles. Oh, knock it off. Devil Hawk says, do we expect anything less from Skip Bayless? What an asshat. Dude, we're going to talk about it another time. Promise you. Baker's Cocky Hen says, corporate accounts payable, Nina speaking. Just a moment. Her voice from Office Space was horrible. Worked with a girl's similar voice for a while, but sadder. Oh, I don't remember that. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. But I think I know what you're talking about. Navy Devil says, if Pickett starts and the Eagles are one and done, I bet Barkley wishes he would have tried to break Dickerson's record. It's a good point. He just sat out for nothing.
I guess, but like he could still have gotten hurt in that game and then you're one and done. But I still think there is something to being the opportunity your team has to win the game. It's going to be on Saquon. I think him being rested, it's going to be, he's got the opportunity. And then if Hurts is out there and he's not limited, well, then now you've got the best opportunity to win that game.
Oh, well, I forgot something. Rainy City Bitch Pigeon says, I was promised a stupid question after the break, and here I sit, still mildly intelligent. I forgot what my question was. Oh, no. I don't remember the question.
That's true. You did tease a stupid question, and then I
don't remember what it was.
And then we got distracted by something else because that's what the Daily Blender is all about.
I am so sorry. I should have written it down right here. I apologize. Sorry. False alarm on the stupid question. George, we're not talking about that right now. Ringless Joe says, I predict the Vikings to lose to the Rams in a callback to the regular season where they lost to the Lions and then went to the Rams and lost the second game. Okay.
That would be like interesting, but yeah, we'll see.
Pickle D says, if they use cat, all I can say is damn tasty. Oh, I can't read that. Cat.
No.
Cat. All right.
No, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I'm going to try to scroll through this and try to remember my dumb question, but we'll be back. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. Terms and conditions apply.
We all know just because gifts for loved ones can look like flowers, a spa day, or maybe even planning date night. But what about something that will truly last and protect your loved ones along the way? I'm talking about life insurance. I called SelectQuote to secure our coverage and couldn't believe how easy and affordable it was. I'm 40, and my $500,000 policy was only $16 a month. My husband's also 40, and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. And with their same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. With monthly payments less than the cost of a bouquet of flowers, this is the perfect time to make sure your family is protected.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-596-2626 or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-596-2626. 1-800-596-2626. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
William is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx saved you a lot of money. Saving that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities. So it puts less stress on our household and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com and start saving today. GoodRx user compensated for their time. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
Everybody's got a podcast these days. Comedy, politics, true crime, you name it. But how many actually teach you anything useful? Harman Solar has an entertaining podcast that is vital if you've been thinking about looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Ralph and Ben explore the intricacies of utilities, equipment, processes, and more. Their primary objective is to educate and empower you to make informed decisions on your solar journey. So increase your knowledge, not your bills. Go check it out right now. It's the Harman Solar Podcast at harmansolar.com.
AZ Preps 365, your source for all the news, info, highlights, and more. Athlete news and interviews. Talk with coaches. Keep you up to date with the changes, moves, upcoming events, and more. AZ Preps 365, Arizona's ultimate prep sports show. If you miss a minute, you miss a lot. AZ Preps 365, Saturday mornings 8 till 10 on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
It's the sound of the fight songs, the excitement of the rivalries. It's the unbelievable upsets. It's the Heisman hopefuls. It's the national rankings. College football is coming. Listen for it on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Feeling we're not going to get much done today. Staying Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic. Beer Bob says, come on, guys, where's your faith? Kenny Pickett helped the Eagles beat the Cowboys, and they beat the Giants. You should have no problem in the playoffs. That is the Packers. I don't know.
It's a Packers defense, though. He beat the Cowboys and the Giants? And you're telling me that he goes against the Packers defense, and that's supposed to be like similar. The Giants suck, and so do the Cowboys this year.
I think Jalen Hurts will find his way on the field.
We'll see. The concussion protocol is not in the hands of the team.
That's Sirianni and his goon. Who's that big goon?
He might.
No. Listen, they'll sit down with him and they'll teach him. Because like those guys know how to probably pass a lie detector test. You know what I mean?
But it's not a lie detector test. They do. There are a number of tests that they do. You know, like how do your eyes respond to certain stimulus and stuff? You can't pretend.
Some neurosurgeon's about to get a hundo and or a threat.
And even if he plays, he hasn't practiced since then. He's not going to be 100% Jalen Hurts.
Just going to slip him an envelope. Some pictures of his family. You know what I'm saying?
We'll see. I mean,
that kind of thing. That's what Sirianni and his goon would probably do right there. I remember my dumb question. Dumb question. Here's my dumb question. I'm serious. This is a serious question. Why don't they, are they not allowed? Why don't they just hire a coach in the middle of the season? Like you fire some guy. Why didn't they just go, boom, Vrabel, get over here. Or, hey, you, if you're available, are they allowed to hire unattached coaches in midseason.
They are not.
Why?
I think
if it's an unattached coach.
Yeah, I think they want, the teams to have roughly a similar advantage in terms of getting those coaches.
How's that an advantage if you got a guy who's not working on a team, he's not a coordinator, he's just a guy. Let's say old Belichick's just sitting there minding his own business, and you know what? Hell with this coach, and then get out of here. Hey, get over here. Nobody can complain because everybody else already has a coach. Why can't they?
I really don't know the answer to that question.
See, it might be a dumb question, but it's my question.
Yeah. I mean,
why can't you hire a coach in the middle of the season?
Outside of the answer that's just the rules, I don't know.
See,
that you've got the from 8 days from the end of the season before you can. So everybody has that date.
Mm-hmm.
If you start to realize your team's not any good, start planning accordingly.
Big George says, dumb question for Rainy City Bitch Pigeons. What's the difference between a Seattle Seahawks fan and a baby? The baby will stop whining after a little while. Good point.
Oh, cold.
Beer Bob. See, again, that's why we need Sarcastica. He says his last post was sarcastic. That's why you need the italics for Sarcastica.
Which apparently the moist one has figured out how to do.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I still haven't figured that out. Against the Spread says Penn State is a bad matchup for the Irish. Notre Dame's quarterback, Leonard, will struggle against that defense because he'll be forced to throw the ball down the field. Public money came in early on the Irish, and sharps are currently squashing that line down. If you can still find Penn State as dogs, jump on that. The Nittany pedophile Lions should be favorites in this game. Never forget.
Never forget.
Never forget that Joe Paterno allowed this dude to molest kids.
Yeah. Now, granted,
and that a lot of people who are Pitt fans just didn't care about that. They didn't care about that. They only cared about their football team, and they were supporting that coach and that other guy.
Now, granted, they did keep it a secret the whole time, so it's not like
even when the people found out, they were like, "Oh, we don't care, because we're winning championships."
I heard a lot of they. I don't think they did actually.
Well, but they're just
but they were winning a lot of football games. Yeah, they were good for a long time. I do think that what I heard the most of was a lot of people who just simply refused to believe it. They just didn't want it to be true, and there's a lot of denial.
Wanting to be true and denying that's evil.
Yeah, I mean,
because you don't want it to be true because you're.
But that's just how the human brain works. There's a reason why some guy's a serial killer, and then everyone goes, "He was such a good guy. I never knew he could do that."
That's not how the human brain is supposed to work. When you realize there's evil, you go after that evil. You don't protect that evil. You don't pretend like that evil.
History would
exist.
say, I'm saying you're right in terms of.
I mean, if you're good people.
But history would say otherwise in terms of what human beings do.
I know.
So,
not the way
what we do and what we're supposed to do, very, very different things. I do agree with you.
I will never stop making comments about Penn State, Ben Rapesberger, or anyone else.
Yeah, the Penn State one is a little tough for me because it's like there are people there now that had nothing to do with that. Like James Franklin's the coach now. James Franklin's not doing any of the things that Joe Paterno did. He's like 2 coaches later, and but when it comes to stuff like with Ben Roethlisberger, he's the guy. He's the guy that did it. Deshaun Watson's the guy that did it.
The boosters allowed it.
Absolutely.
The owners of the Browns allow it. All these people who permit it and allow it. So I don't know. Kitty Diddler State, it will always be known as to me. Let's see. Harvey Puttswaddler says, didn't Indy do that a few seasons ago with Jeff Saturday? Do what? Hire him mid-season? I think. Did they? Was he brought in mid-season? When they fired a coach, did they? Oh yeah, I wonder about that. I have to look that up. Good point, Puttswaddler. Moist One says, Big George, what's the difference between you and a fridge? There's no punchline. He really just wants to know that. Ringless Joe says, if the Eagles lose in the first round, Sirianni will probably be fired, even if it's not his fault. Why? Not if Hurts is out.
Yeah, I guess they did with Jeff Saturday because he was just working at ESPN.
There you go. So you can hire a guy
guess-
like that in the midseason. I'm embarrassed, Putzwaller, that I forgot it happened with my own team.
We all
I
forgot
that.
We talked about it forever. We just
So you could do it as long as they're not attached to another team.
I'm guessing that most coaches that teams want are in fact attached to the other teams. That's my guess, I guess.
Raven Kid says, especially mid-season, tough to buy in. Yeah, I know that still, if you are sitting there and they're like, dude, listen, we won't hold this first part against you. Just get in here, start doing your thing. We believe in you. We won't hold the rest of the year against you when we get to work next year. Hell yeah. That's probably what Jeff Saturday was thinking. He's like, yeah, all right. Muahahaha says, I believe they can't hire a coach mid-season because they have to follow Rooney Rule and have multiple candidates. I don't know about that in an emergency. I don't know. It is a self-created emergency. I don't know. That's also a good point. Scratch Me Because says, if Rocky Balboa could beat Apollo Creed, Mr. T, and Drago, I think Jalen Hurts could play with a little owie in his head, little head owie. I agree. Last Optimist says, Joe Paterno found out and protected the evil, just like the Blackhawks did. See, yeah, evil. Ringless. That makes.
I'm not defending Paterno.
That makes
To be
Paterno
clear.
evil that he protected the evil because that is complicit in the evil that is being evil.
He knew what Sandusky was doing and he looked the other
Mm-hmm.
way.
Ringless Joe says fans were chomping at the bit to fire him when they were 1-2. Talking about Sirianni. Pickle D says, I'm surprised Diddy wasn't their biggest booster. Probably was. Kane Kitten says, what's for dinner tonight? Hey, will the Fanatic have all the NFL playoff games? Yes. Yes, we will. Yes, we absolutely will. This weekend, every single game is on our radio station on Saturday and Sunday. Now, the next week, the playoff games are on Saturday and Sunday. One of the games in the evening will be over on Money Radio because we have a GCU game that's going to be on Saturday night. So that's, but we have your access to every single one of those games on radio. Ringless Joe says, we showed everybody. Did you play on the team? Did you play on the team, Ringless Joe?
I don't know. I think you're a fan. You get to say we.
I know. I'm just busting his chops.
You know.
He says we showed everybody that the all the narrative that they can't keep this up. The injuries matter. They're not the same defense. Well, check the scoreboard. And that was a quote from Terrion Arnold. Well, here's the thing. Huge surprise. 90% of the time, that many injuries on the front end of a defense means you have no defense. So that's just a credit to Dan Campbell and the culture
and Aaron Glenn
to their ability to get guys on the practice squad who are such high quality. I mean, all of the above is true here.
Yeah. I mean, I just think Aaron Glenn, I've been a big Aaron Glenn fan for a couple of years now. And it's just, we've just reached a point where the guy's got to start getting some credit for what he's doing defensively. But that being said, I still think that the defense matters. You know, like you did give up 34 points to the Niners the week before. You know, a few weeks before that, you did give up, 48 points to the Bills. These are playoff teams. And not all of these teams you're playing are going to be teams that you're familiar with, that you play all the time. Like you have enough film on Darnold, specifically you and your team and your scheme against Darnold to know how to make him have his worst game. Can you do that against another playoff level opponent? Yeah. And like, look, you get credit for that, but let's not act like that one game erases every concern about your defense. If you look at the numbers, you have been giving up points as you have been getting more injured. Congratulations on beating the Vikings that bad. It's not going to magically repeat in the playoffs just because you were able to do it against your divisional rival.
Oh, fridge doesn't fart when you pull your meat out. Oh, I get it. That's what the joke was.
I was just going to say the fridge might be smaller.
Yeah. No, your fridge is not as tall as Big
I don't
George.
have a 7-foot tall fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a much wider fridge.
Yeah.
I would like
a wider fridge. A taller fridge would be. I'm 5'10". That's not helpful. Yeah.
Anyway, we're definitely not getting everything done today, but that's okay because we got shows tomorrow, the next day, and the next day. We still have another hour left. We've done 2. For some reason, we need a third. I don't know why. We don't have the AI ready yet.
Yeah.
But we got the coaching carousel to talk about, the injury report, all sorts of NFL news. I think I got to sort of pause you guys on this text line a little bit so I can give you some information. Rather, I don't know. Sometimes I just gotta pause you. That's all. I'm just saying. So, all right. Okay. That's what we're doing. I don't know. I just really filling space there badly.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona.
Progressive presents a testimonial of sorts.
Hey, slow down! Oh, yeah? Well, you drive like my grandma. She's a very attentive and courteous driver who wears a seatbelt and always uses her turn signals. She's also a talented painter and has very low cholesterol. Not that that has anything to do with the drive. We just thought a more complete picture of who she is might be interesting. Anyway, have a nice day.
Safe driver? Get Snapshot from Progressive and get a personalized rate based on how you drive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
In most countries of the world, Forte means door. United Forte Custom Doors, located in the Scottsdale Airport Design District, is now open with over 40,000 European doors, all in stock, ready for delivery, and at wholesale prices. Designers, contractors, builders, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Forte, Porte. Stop by to see and feel the quality at United Forte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
All right, so there we were, cruising through the new open air zoo when I realized that the park was closing in like 15 minutes. That's when the afternoon took an exciting turn. Luckily, we were in my Nissan Rogue. With its powerful DC turbo engine, well, we had more than enough time to see all the animals. Whoa. And outrun a few.
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now, Nissan offers 6 vehicles starting under $30,000 MSRP. Shop at your local Nissan store or at nissanusa.com. 2024 Nissan Altima, Kicks, Leaf, Rogue, Sentra, and Versa. All prices are manufacturer suggested retail price. Manufacturer suggested retail price excludes destination and handling charges, tax, title, license, and options. Dealer sets actual prices.
Did you know that vitamins are your partners in health? Not just inside, but outside too? These nutrients are key to our daily well-being. And for anyone who can get pregnant, folic acid is a must for preventing birth defects, helping you have a healthier pregnancy. The Arizona Department of Health Services is offering 3 months of free daily vitamins with folic acid. Power your health inside and out. Get your free vitamins at azdhs.gov/PowerMeA2C.
Sponsored by the Arizona Department of Health Services.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
It's time for the third hour.
Quiet, people, settle down.
Because it's time. Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 5 o'clock here on the Daily Blender, and your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, alongside not Randy White. He'll be back tomorrow, but we got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. And all right, so a lot of stuff going on with the coaches. I probably should check and make sure that more hasn't just happened when I wasn't paying attention. Just make sure I'll have have some news feeds open here just in case. Ashton Genty, by the way, has entered the NFL draft. We knew he was going to do that. That's not a surprise, right?
No.
He
was basically he's going to be one of the top running backs off the board, if not the top running back off the board. So,
Theo, let's get to the coaching carousel here. The Giants have decided to keep Brian Dable and Joe Schoen for another season.
Hey, make my life easier.
Oh my God!
As long as the Giants keep doing whatever it is they're doing to themselves,
Hmm.
because this is insane.
Gonna need more planes with banners on them.
Like there are teams that decided, you know what, I like our coach, but maybe if we had better players, things would have gone differently. Like the Titans, they like Brian Callahan, so they kept him. They fired the general manager, Rand Carthen, who's had, you know, the last couple of seasons to try and build up this team. They've gone 9-25 in that time. So I can understand that. You know, I could understand the Giants saying, Joe, you might be the problem here. Brian, if he had a quarterback worth anything and a running back that was Saquon Barkley, we might have something else entirely. But you decided to pay Daniel Jones or whatever. But I could get that. But to keep them both doesn't make any sense to me, like at all.
No, you're. I was. That was probably one of the more surprising. We're keeping everybody's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because now the Titans have the first pick, the Browns have the second. Guess who needs quarterbacks? Everybody. So are there two good quarterbacks in this draft? Are there two?
They are, but they might be gone before the Giants get to pick them.
No, I know. At number 3. So I'm asking next. Are there 3 good quarterbacks in this draft?
There are not 3 quarterbacks I would draft at the top of this draft.
So the Giants need to move up.
Yeah, but how do you do that? Because if the two teams sitting there both want a quarterback, there's nothing you could give them, especially if, you know, like if you're sitting there and let's see, who's got the second pick? You're the Browns, and say you really, really, really wanted Shedeur.
You got to get out of this Deshaun Watson mess.
And then Shadeur's gone, and you don't really like Cam Ward as much for whatever reason. Then you might move out of that position just because there's no point in burning a pick on a guy you don't actually want just to draft a quarterback. But they are in a pretty desperate spot too.
Yeah, Hamilton Porter, you're right. This is a crappy quarterback draft. Sue, my prediction is Titans, Browns, Giants might start trading picks for good veteran quarterbacks.
Maybe,
I don't know who's
no.
available.
When
I know
you
how
say-
you do that. If you say these two, those 2 quarterbacks are good, so maybe the
Yeah.
Giants trade a pick for a good veteran quarterback.
It's a crappy quarterback draft in that it's not deep. The
That's
two
what I'm saying.
guys,
Okay, so
the two
fine.
guys at the
Titans and
top,
Browns.
yeah. Like
All
I don't think that you trade away if you have
But
a
the
chance to draft
Giants-
Shedeur or Cam. Like I don't think you trade out of the
If
spot.
the Giants have no chance, then maybe they trade for a quarterback for somebody who else wants to move up.
Yeah, like there's a possibility there, or maybe you try to see what Kirk Cousins has. Like I don't know what your options are. There aren't great options right now. Whatever you do, you're sitting with the possibility of going, okay, here's a bridge quarterback. That's the situation we're in. Do we try a Marcus Mariota? Every time he's had to fill in for Jaden Daniels, he's looked phenomenal, but he's never looked phenomenal for an entire season.
No.
But you have to do something, and I don't know if both of those guys are gone at that point.
I think they will be.
You're gonna have to either say, yeah, we'll go Jalen Milroe, second round maybe. You're taking a guy in the second. This
How
is
much
essentially
money
Quentin
can the
Ewers second.
Giants throw at like another guy?
I mean, I think they have a decent amount of cap space. They can throw money at a guy.
I
but
need a
who's-
list of all the available quarterbacks.
Let's see.
And then the other thing is that those are available. They can just throw at a guy. But more likely, if the Giants were to trade with another team for a competent quarterback, the Giants could trade for who?
Who would trade with you? Because if I have a competent
maybe
quarterback,
the Saints, but then they need a quarterback.
yeah,
Everybody needs a quarterback.
If I have a competent quarterback in a league where everybody's struggling to find one, I'm not trading anything to you.
All right,
Like,
let's go down
what
the
do you
list.
have to give me?
I
that
know,
would-
but this is bad. This is going to be a bad offseason. Because look at that. Titans need a quarterback, they'll get one. Browns need a quarterback, they'll get one. After that, here's who else needs a quarterback: the Giants, the Patriots, the Jaguars, the Raiders. Well, the Jaguars? No, maybe not the Jaguars.
Like you maybe
if you believe in Trevor Lawrence, do you think they'll roll them?
He's
or
not. Jags, yeah, I think they will. I think because first off, Lawrence was like banged up all year. He's just absolutely
so
injured.
we'll skip them.
They
The
once
Raiders,
again were on pace to leading the league in drops when he threw the ball. So there's a whole lot there.
Raiders need a quarterback. The Jets will need a quarterback. The Panthers, no, they're okay with that quarterback.
Yeah, with Bryce Young, I think they'll try and figure it out.
I think they won't draft. They'll probably draft something else.
Yeah, they'll give him another
Saints.
You're going to go back with Derek Carr?
I don't know if they are.
I wouldn't. he's not good.
And I don't think the Giants want to trade for him.
But the Saints also can't do a whole lot because they're in cap hell and they've been there for it feels like a decade.
So then you get to number 10. The Bears do not need a quarterback. Niners don't need a quarterback unless
and this is the thing too.
Happens there. Maybe the Giants trade for Purdy. But I don't think the 49ers want to let him go.
I don't think so either. The Niners aren't going to let Purdy go. He's got one more year left on his deal, so he's not even a free agent. They're not going to trade him. No. The Cowboys aren't going to let go of Dak Prescott. He's good. He's not like great. He's not elite, but he's good.
Dolphins don't need a quarterback. Colts don't really have a clear quarterback to trade, but they're not going to draft a quarterback because there's two guys. This is also a surprise, is that they've decided to keep Shane Steichen and GM Chris Ballard on the Colts, which I'm just stunned.
That's the Irsay patience, man. Like that's what those guys show you.
We're going to get more of the same, but I don't think they're going to let Richardson go. But I don't think they're going to be chasing down they'll probably try to find another
solid veteran,
another retread.
And a retread for a backup of your young quarterback is one thing. A retread for your starter.
How are you going to get a retread at anything? Because I just listed off 9 teams that need a quarterback, and all of those guys are going to be scrambling to find whatever veteran, whatever body with an arm, anything. Hell, we might just end up keeping Joe Flacco.
Yeah, here's a list of NFL free agent quarterbacks this year. This list is sad. It's Sam Darnold, and then it's just immediately depressing after that.
Maybe the Giants go after Sam Darnold, but I mean, Sam Darnold looks around and goes, "No, I think I'll stay with the Vikings."
Yeah, maybe he'll stay with the Vikings, or maybe Sam will just look around and go, "Is this a bidding war? I'll go to the highest bidder." He can do that
9 teams so far that I've listed.
Sam's about to get paid,
so
whether he stays or goes.
Falcons
and then
need a quarterback. Cardinals should be.
Well, the Falcons don't need a quarterback because the Falcons have Michael Penix. They drafted.
Oh, that's right. No, never mind. Yeah.
It was stupid of them to draft him, but also kind of smart of them in the way that like they had a backup plan at least. So
and the Cardinals should be wanting a quarterback, but I think they're going to stick with Murray. Bengals got Joe Burrow.
They just can't get out of it.
Seahawks probably roll with Geno, who good for him. He got his $6 million on this last game of those 3 different incentive points.
Yeah.
So,
but the list after Darnold is Zach Wilson. It's Trey Lance. It's Jacoby Brissett. It's my guy Taylor Heineke. I got nothing bad to say about Taylor, but that's not a starter.
Let's go deeper into the abyss.
Marcus Mariota, Drew Lock, Jarrett Stidham, and Andy Dalton.
None of these guys.
Well, if you're desperate, Andy Dalton's going to have to work because he's the next best guy. Justin Fields, maybe.
I'll take Justin Fields and the Colts.
You're gonna have to tailor the offense to him the way the Steelers did. You can't just throw him out there and expect him to just be great. But there's something there with Fields, maybe. After that, it's Wentz, Mac Jones, Jameis Winston.
No, I don't want to hear about Wentz's name ever.
Joe Flacco.
No, thank you.
Case Keenum, Mason Rudolph.
I'll probably keep Flacco.
Easton Stick. Like this is
stop reading names. It's just aggravating.
That's what I'm saying. Like you think it's a thin draft? It's a thin free agent class too.
So let's see who else. Texans don't need a quarterback.
No.
Buccaneers don't. Broncos don't. Steelers. Somewhere in there they've got one.
I mean, Russell Wilson's going to probably be their guy, and maybe I think they also try to hang on to Fields and say you're the future. Russell Wilson's our right now, but you're the future. Just watch him work, learn from him, and we'll get to you.
Rams are good. Packers are good. Chargers are good. Commandos are good. Ravens are good. Vikings are good. Bills are good. Eagles are good. Chiefs are good. Lions are good. So about 10 teams need a quarterback, and only 2 are going to get one. Got to just sort of do the best they can with what's left over.
2 are going to draft one, and then the
Giants are in trouble.
Somebody's going to get Darnold. Somebody's going to get Dalton. Somebody's going to get Fields, and after that, there's just nothing. There's just nothing worth having.
John Mara said the Giants will never tank, and I'd fire anyone who did. But once he realizes how bad things are, sitting there with the number 3 draft pick and the inability to get a quality quarterback, he's going to probably change his mind. He's probably going to be like, you know what? On second thought, Dable, Sheen, get your crap, get out of here. Wow. This is
it's
not great.
He said he's going to have, nothing but patience. Say, the Browns are like, you know what? We're still stuck on Deshaun. We're not going to draft the guy. They'd be crazy to do it, but the Browns have done dumber things. And then the Giants do get to draft a quarterback. What if you have another bad season because the young quarterback looks young? Are you going to fire everybody and then turn yourself into the Bears basically on purpose? That's the other situation here. Is like, if you think Dable and Schoen aren't good, just fire them now and get it over with.
All I can say is I'm not making any damn bets. My Colts are going to stink again next year in a very similar fashion, maybe worse. I don't know. All I know is I'm not making any bets. And things do not look good for my team. They look better for the Cardinals than they do for my team. And the Cardinals should be getting another quarterback. Please tell me there's more quarterbacks coming in the next draft.
In the draft after? I don't know. Because that's what
Arch Manning. Save us.
I don't think Arch is going to be there by then. But look, I think that when you're looking at the quarterbacks, you never know what's going to shake out in a future quarterback draft. This past one just happened to be particularly deep, and all the teams that were up top were able to get somebody, and most of those quarterbacks turned out to have some level of promise, and two of them are in the playoffs. So you get those. Those are the years you want to be bad. So if I'm the Cardinals, I'm not in a rush to move on from Kyler Murray, because if the draft is this thin and the free agent class is this thin, just be bad when it's time to be bad.
Just gonna have to roll this another year.
There's no point in trying to replace Kyler Murray with Andy Dalton. Granted, they did say they were going to bring in a veteran to challenge him. So, I mean, at least there's a little bit of knowledge that, like, Kyler does not have this job in an undisputed way. He's gonna have to actually earn it.
Cardinal Art says, bull crap, the Cardinals are in need of a quarterback to shake up the quarterback room. Sign Justin Fields? Hell, pour me up a strong whiskey. Would you, Keon? Well, here's the thing, Cardinal Art. The Cardinals will never be any better than they are right now, give or take a game, until you've gotten another quarterback other than Kyler Murray. A quality quarterback, which I guess...
He's the most inconsistent quarterback in football.
You don't know when the next good quarterbacks are coming until, I guess, you watch some college football next year. This is how did this happen? How did this happen that there's what happened to the pipeline of quarterbacks?
And, there's an ebb and flow. Like last year, we had an unusual amount of them. Like you can't have 6 of them every year. Like that happens every once in a while. Usually
we need 6 every year.
Usually, yeah, but you don't get those. Like that's just the way that it works out. And you have, you know
why? Because here's why. The coaches go out there and they let their kids play quarterback, and some talented kid who could have been great and then gone on to the NFL never gets to play, gets discouraged and quits football.
Let's see. The
coaches' kids should not be allowed to be quarterback. If you want to be a quarterback, go play for somebody other than your dad's team.
Yeah,
I guarantee you that is what has stopped a bunch of really good quarterbacks from existing.
Maybe, but we'll. I mean, I wouldn't say that just by itself.
Yeah, anybody with kids is hearing what I'm saying. They're going, "Yep."
Yeah, but I'm sure that there are a lot of other, avenues to that. I have no idea exactly who got shut out of what. All I'm saying is
so many kids.
Next year, 2026, the quarterbacks who would be available, there's no way of knowing whether or not they're actually going to go. Malachi Nelson of UTEP, which I have not seen any UTEP games, so I couldn't tell you. But Arch Manning is available. I don't think he'll leave just because of what his dad said, but who can tell? Lenora Sellers from South Carolina, the Tennessee quarterback Nico Iamaleava, Drew Aller from Penn State, Jackson Arnold from Auburn, Miller Moss, who was Ralph's guy that he was raving about at USC, transferred away at Louisville now.
When he talks about USC guys, I don't listen.
It's just
because
because he just hypes them up, and then they're just pretty good. Connor Wegman at Houston, Jalen Daniels. At that point, we're getting like second round
Jalen Daniels.
Jalen Daniels, yeah.
Any relation?
Absolutely none.
How funny.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
And then Garrett Nussmeier is a guy I like a lot at LSU. But
hey, you want? I'm not going to call it breaking news.
I love it,
but it's pretty good news.
All right.
The Eagles have waived Ian Book, quarterback. That is a pretty good sign that Jalen Hurts is going to play on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way. Yeah,
interesting. See, that's why we got to keep an eye on these feeds. Cardinal Art says, same old Cardinals. Trust me, I know, Jeffco. Basically, nobody coming out except for Arch. Maybe next year, Keon. I don't think so next year.
Yeah, I don't think so. But if he is available, he'll be in there. Garrett Nussmeier at LSU looks pretty all right.
It's be sad if he's not a Colt.
What if Sam Levitt has like another rock star kind of season? Like I can't imagine he doesn't turn that into an NFL play. I think that there are going to be more guys next year than this year, but this year's a wash.
Big George says Justin Verlander and the San Francisco Giants have agreed to a 1-year contract pending a physical with Kate Upton. I guess if you're going to pay that much money, fair enough. Bat Flipper says our coach in high school made his kid start quarterback our freshman year. First game, the kid broke his hip and the coach moved his family. Well, I feel bad for the kid, but
I just didn't expect that story to go there.
That's instant karma.
He immediately moved his family.
And that's the other thing. Understand, I feel bad for the coach's kid in that position, but there's a lot of way better players than the coach's kid who don't ever get to play and get discouraged and never play again. I've seen it. For a lot of years. I saw it back with my oldest, and I've seen it with my boys now. Of course, my boys aren't quarterbacks. I've seen it's always the coach's kid playing quarterback, and the kids are all muttering, "Yeah, Bobby over here is a lot better. Why can't Bobby be the quarterback?"
He's always the quarterback or the pitcher or the point guard.
Yeah, Bat Flipper says, yeah, the kid was good. He just wasn't the best option. Yeah, it's a huge problem in sports. I should go on the AIA show and lay it down. See what they say.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll see.
Never be asked on or back
because that's at a certain level of high school sports. The coaches aren't even coaching their kid. There's enough money in it now. It's just like, no, the schools want to win. They don't want you to don't show up with your kid unless your kid is going to help us win a championship.
Right. But the problem is, I'm talking down at the Pee-wee level. Yeah. I'm talking junior high, and then some of these kids don't even make it to high school because they got discouraged by what's the point? I can't be a quarterback on this team. And it seems like every team almost, the coach's kid, and the reason they're coaching in flag football, Pop Warner, whatever, the coach is coaching his own kid. I mean, or else why would he be out there putting this much time into it?
You have to look out for that. I think if you're a parent trying to get your kid into that, is to say, well, okay,
that's tough.
It's tough. It is tough because
you don't realize it till you're already committed. Now you're stuck on a team where you don't get to play quarterback when you're like, okay, what am I doing here? I mean, not everybody's good enough to play, but there's a lot of kids I've seen who were better than the coach's kid get screwed over.
I do remember being in high school and the coach's kid got benched 3 times in one season because he was way harder on his son. His son would make one mistake, bench. It's brutal.
It is horrible. I've seen a coach's kid who was bad, didn't want to play because he knew he was bad, crying, faking injuries to get out of the game because he didn't want to suffer this indignity because he knew all the other kids knew he wasn't any good. And his dad was that kind of guy. It was just hard on him. It's hard to watch. It really is. Let's see. Verlander news would have been amazing 5 years ago. It happens. Hey, at least it wasn't the Dimebacks, which is,
that's improvement.
Yeah,
that's growth.
We didn't go get an old. Moist one says, or the coach's kid doesn't even want to play basketball. He wants to sing with his girlfriend, Gabriella. That seemed very specific to something. And I don't get it.
I don't get it either. Either that's a very personal story or a reference to something that I do not get.
Movie. Cardinal Art says basically nobody coming out except Arch. Oh, I read that. Bullseye says, how about Joe Milton III? He would be a great quarterback on the Colts.
I like Joe Milton because he's got a big arm and it's like he's accurate too. He'll drop it in a bucket, but I don't know that he's seeing the field at that level where
is he short?
I don't think he's short.
Oh,
let me see. I don't know off the top of my head, but I don't think he's short. I'm talking about like mentally when the defense is trying to deceive you. Can you figure it out?
Oh, okay. He's not Mr. Wilbur then.
No.
Yeah, okay. Muahaha says, I could see Vikings putting the franchise tag on Sam Darnold and then trading him for a haul of picks. I think the Vikings are probably going to look to keep him.
Yeah, Jesus, Joe Milton's 6'5".
You got to keep Sam Darnold even if J.J. McCarthy comes back and is looking good in camp. You got to keep Sam Darnold one more year. Yeah. I would franchise tag the hell out of him and keep him no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Navy Devil says, I like how the Jets had their banner upside down and backwards at the game Sunday. Yeah, I saw that. That's just so Jets. That was as Jets.
Oh, no.
Jets.
Oh, no.
Everybody's holding it on the field, and they're like, yay. They're waving it. Everybody in the stands is like, morons. How do you not notice it? It's right there in front of you. Last Optimist says the Giants and the Panthers have terrible GMs and owners making bad decisions. Jets had a good coach and a good GM and an owner making terrible decisions.
I don't know if the Panthers have like a bad GM. Like I think that's a pretty for how long he's been the general manager of that team. I don't think that he's a bad GM. But that owner does make things hard, and he does. As far as all the reports are out there, he does put his thumb on the scale, and if he wants a guy, GM doesn't have a say.
If you have to go in front of a microphone and say, "My teenage boy has no impact. He's not on the payroll." That you know what? You're full of crap. We know that he's said, "Hey, Dad," and you listen.
Well, that's the thing is he said, no, my sons do not do that. But they are interns in the building and they do 10 meetings. So they do have input, Woody. All right, cool.
Woody's trying to Jerry Jones it. You know what I'm saying?
Without the amount of money.
Jarrah's kids knew to be seen, not heard. I guarantee it.
Yeah. They weren't telling him about Madden ratings. I don't think Jerry wants to hear anything about that.
There were no Madden ratings. That's how old the Jones boys are now. All right, got to take a break. We'll be back. I'm not even done with the coaching carousel pile. I'm not going to read any text when we come back. I'm going to get through this. I swear to God. Okay, I probably will read text. That's a lie. But still, I'm going to try to get through this. This is the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic. Brought to you by GBank. Earn cashback rewards on every eligible gaming transaction. vsin.com/GBank. Subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply.
College football, the national semifinal matchup of the Orange Bowl pits Penn State against Notre Dame. The Irish are a 2.5-point favorite over the Nittany Lions, minus 135 on the money line, while Penn State is at plus 115. The over-under at 44.5, the over minus 120, and the under sits at even money. The Cotton Bowl will be Friday night at AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas facing Ohio State. The Buckeyes are a 6-point favorite over the Longhorns, minus 230 on the money line. Texas plus 195. The over-under sits at 53.5. The winners will head to Atlanta January 20th for a matchup for the national championship. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Sports bettors, we've all been there. You have a live bet lined up, you check the odds one more time, place the bet only to see the bet delayed by the spinny wheel, line move, and your bet rejected. My name's Alex Kane, and I'm the founder and CEO of Sportrade, Arizona's newest sports betting app. At the core of the Sportrade offering is our probability-based odds. In other words, the Cardinals may be offered at 55% odds to win, a lot simpler than minus 125. Place your bet at 55% odds, and as your win probability changes, so does the value of your bet, giving you the ability to cash out with total control. And the best part, no spinning wheels. Live bets on Sportrade are instantly accepted. Download Sportrade on your iPhone today and use code 1580 to earn 10% cash back on every bet in your first week. Terms apply.
Sport Trade is regulated by the Arizona Department of Gaming. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Ever have one of those days where your gut just feels blah?
Yes.
Occasional bloating or gas could be signs that your gut is out of balance. But Align Probiotic can help. Align 24/7 Digestive Support is a daily use probiotic with a unique strain to help relieve occasional digestive issues. It's the #1 doctor recommended brand. So when you feel the signs, it's time to try Align. Align Probiotic. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Tom Kelly's carbon fiber mountain bike. Because more than riding his carbon fiber mountain bike, Tom loves telling people about his carbon fiber mountain bike. Friends, family, even a local barista knows about his carbon fiber mountain bike. And that's why Tom's carbon fiber mountain bike, if you haven't heard about it, is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
The GCU men's basketball squad is coming off their winningest season in 35 years, their third trip to the NCAA tournament in 4 years, and their first ever NCAA tournament victory. Returning 4 of their 5 starters in Ray Harrison, Colin Moore, Duke Brennan, and reigning WAC Player of the Year, Tyon Grant Foster, the Lopes look to defend their WAC titles and make a run to the Sweet 16. With a non-conference slate, including Stanford, Georgia, and crosstown rival Arizona State, you won't want to miss a moment of the action. So join me, Michael Potter, and Lopes insider Paul Coro all season long right here on the home of the Lopes, 1580 The Fanatic. Lopes up.
Saturday, it's NFL football on the Fanatic.
Saturday at 6, the Steelers travel to Baltimore to take on the Ravens in an AFC North battle. The Ravens blew out the Steelers in Week 16. Will the Steelers enact revenge on their rivals, or will the Ravens MVP candidate Lamar Jackson carve up the Steelers again to move on? Steelers at Ravens, Saturday at 6.
You're home for live NFL action, the playoffs, and Super Bowl 59. 1580 The Fanatic.
Dave Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. You hear that little bald guy on the Fox Sunday morning show there talking about, there's a bunch of teams are interested in trading for Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell. A bunch?
I mean, I'm sure there are some teams that are looking for coaches and going, we'd rather just have that guy. We know he's good. But the Vikings, yeah, I mean,
Vikings are going to let him go, and I think he's happy where he's at.
He's happy where he's at, and usually when you get the coaches being traded, there's some dysfunction in the organization where, coach and GM or coach and owner or some other group of interest in that building don't get along. You haven't heard anything like that from Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings. So there's no reason to believe you could actually do it. Why would they do that?
Just more desperation, I think. So, no, Kevin O'Connell not going anywhere, not getting traded. And they're like, we love the guy. We're not trading him. So let that one go. Of course, Mike Vrabel is interviewing. What is today? Tuesday?
Today's Tuesday.
Yeah, I think he's interviewing on Thursday. But, doesn't matter what day. This is all just, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, this person's interviewing, that person's interviewing. Everybody's interviewing everybody now.
Kind of like because Vrabel refused interviews last season. Like, I think he just wanted the time away from football to, recharge his batteries before giving it another shot. So sometimes it's good to know, okay, Vrabel's at least back in it this year, where last year he took the year off.
Yeah, you got to get the loser stink off a guy. Sometimes that's what you need to do. Yeah, so it was funny how fast they're like, Vrabel's available. Hey, Jared, come on, we got to talk to you. What? Oh, yeah, you're fired. Okay. Doug Peterson getting fired.
But Trent Baalke, the GM, sticking around, which I don't know that he's built the best team there.
There's just different ways, different people. Like, listen, if Doug Peterson had been charming enough, maybe they'd have fired the GM. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes it's like, who's talking to the owner? Who's got the better relationship? Sometimes it just kind of, and then people are impressionable. Well, the GM talked to Doug's the problem. Oh yeah, we gotta get. Hey,
yeah,
Mr.
and the GM usually is the guy that's hired first, so he does tend to have a little bit more of the leverage there to keep his job by getting rid of yours, and also he's usually your boss if you're the coach. So if he has to choose between him and you,
fire yourself. So bam, coach is gone. Okay. Doug Peterson, I don't think he's a bad coach.
I don't think so either.
So here's the other thing. What do you think that he'll get any play? Or is it the give him some time to get the stink off him thing?
It might be that just because of how bad they were this year, but like a lot of that was they didn't have Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, he missed 7 games. 7 games without your starting quarterback. Who was the backup for the Jaguars? Who did we just beat the other
day? you probably looked directly at him and can't remember him. Oh goodness, pop-up ads, go away. The backup is it's Mac Jones. That's right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? It took us everything to beat him too, by the way. With Joe Flacco.
Not great.
Anywho, thank you, Moist One. So Rex Ryan, is there something wrong with him? I mean, okay, yes, there is, because Rex Ryan's on the phone and he's like, yeah, I feel like I'm going to get that Jets head coaching job. Why? Because Woody likes his toes sucked. That's why. Yeah, Rex Ryan, Mr. Foot Fetish.
I got that. I don't think that. I still think that Rex is more into his wife, but
Foot's a foot when you're lonely.
I think he's still with her though, so I
think he's just a blowhard.
Because I do think he was a good coach with them. It just when it fell apart
Jesus.
really
then you got to see his fat brother show up, the hairy one,
Rob Ryan, maybe. I think Woody. I think this is a bad look for Woody. I don't know that it's a bad look for Rex. The last time the Jets were any good, Rex was the coach. Like that's really the thing, and so this just feels like Woody Johnson doesn't know where to turn. He doesn't know who to hire. And so he's just going back to the well that last worked for him. And he's forgetting about the way things ended with Rex Ryan, which is that team just completely fell apart. And he's remembering the glory days when they went to AFC title games and got beaten by Tom Brady.
Rex Ryan said, 100% absolutely, I do believe I'll be the next head coach of the Jets. The reason I think I'm going to get it is because I'm the best guy and it ain't even close.
Well, he's always got that confidence. Like, I'm not going to go after Rex for this. He is kind of a blowhard, but
I think something's wrong with him.
But the guy was a good coach. Like, I don't want to act like he couldn't do it. His defenses were great. It's just, Mark Sanchez was his quarterback. Why has nobody come
for him since? It's been how many years now?
I don't know. That doesn't, I mean, to me, that doesn't necessarily speak to the fact that the guy can't coach. Though I do think the longer you spend away from the game, the harder it is for you to get back in it, because now the game has changed and it doesn't work the way that it used to. And when Rex Ryan last coached, RPOs, the run pass option, they didn't run that in the league. Like, how's he going to defend that? Maybe he's been working on it at home, but there's a reason why. Like, once you've been out of the league 3 or 4 years, they're not coming for you. You have to start to get back in there.
He watches a lot of TV. Rex Ryan also says, if I'm the Jets coach, Aaron Rodgers won't get the country club treatment. Okay. Well, then Aaron Rodgers will probably not play for you.
They're not playing favorites, but
he doesn't need to. He doesn't
need to. And I also think Rodgers wants to be released from the Jets. I don't think, no matter who they hire, I don't think Rodgers wants to be there.
No, he doesn't want to be there. Okay. Yes. Last off, Miss, you're right. The Bears had requested an interview with Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy. And as far as I know, they've given back nothing. No response. No no's, no yes, no nothing. Crickets, just crickets chirping. Last Optimist says, poverty franchise Cowboys denying requests. Oh, they're now denying? Did they actually deny, or there's a difference between denying and not responding. He says, they're going to wait until after the contract with him expires on the 14th. Well, that's interesting. That indicates, if that's true, that indicates that McCarthy wants to interview with these people.
Yeah.
But the Cowboys are like, no, not until that last possible day. And that gives them 7 days from now to try to talk him into something.
Yeah.
Or they're just being spiteful towards the other team.
A lot of the reports that I'm seeing here are also actively declined. I think with this is just Jerry Jones nonsense. Like, I don't understand what the point of this is.
Hey, do you watch Landman?
It's so funny. Dylan was actually asking me the same question.
I was watching that last night, and it's this character, John Hamm, who's in everything, by the way.
Yeah.
John Hamm had a heart attack, and he's sitting there, and he's like, my heart. And then there's you see the back of a head. There's this old guy. He's like, let me tell you something. And he turned, holy crap, it's Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones sitting there acting in the show. And he's doing pretty good. My wife's like, he's totally reading cards. I'm like, but he's reading it really good. I mean, like, he was believable. Of course, he was playing himself. He did play himself, but he was because he's talking to another oil man. Because remember, that's how he got
his money. Yeah,
and he's telling the story about how he bought some plots of land and made the oil, then bought the team, and he bought the team. He thought for himself, and then he was just like, part of it was great about it was having his kids working with him. All this, he's telling the story. He's starting to tear up and everything. I'm like, oh my god, this is real.
Jerry's always been a little Hollywood. So like, I'll watch it though because Dylan was raving about it too.
He pulled it off. And then I felt dirty. I was like, oh god, it's Jerry Jones. But anyway, sorry. But yeah, Landman on its own it's a messed up, funny show. It's a funny show, but it's also a drama show. It's really good.
Okay. I like that.
I mean, it's worth the watching. It's uncomfortable. There's some stuff in there where you're like,
There definitely, when I have to watch shows like that, I'm that person. I got to pause a lot. When things get really awkward and uncomfortable, I can't do that. I'm not great at it.
Oh, it's not that
okay.
bad.
Not okay.
There's stuff where you're like, ooh, what?
But yeah, I will absolutely check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I just think that Jerry's been doing this dance where it's like, yeah, no, I'll bring back Mike McCarthy, of course. But then there's multiple opportunities to re-sign the guy. He just wouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. So then Mike starts, thinking about the Bears job. There were reports out there that he would take interviews if people offered them. And then Jerry's standing in front of the media saying, well, if a guy doesn't want to be here, then he should go. He should go interview because we only want people who want to be here. And then you're denying his interview after saying he should go. This is crazy. He's actually being crazy. Do you think that this is to save a few dollars on Mike McCarthy? Do you realize there's no cap for a coach? Just pay the guy if you like the guy.
He answers the right answers when the questions are asked, but then he does the opposite thing.
Yeah.
He goes by, there's an oscillating fan in his office that is, it's kind of like whichever way that wind blows, that's the way Jerry goes. Scratch Me Because says, if Jesus Christ was asked to be the head coach of the Bears, he'd turn it down because that would definitely damage his reputation.
So, like a miracle even he couldn't pull off.
That's true. Yeah. Moist One says
he walked on water, but this is too much.
Big fan of Billy Bob's daughter. Those characters make me uncomfortable. The daughter and the wife, the Billy Bob Thornton's daughter and wife on that show. Because I'm just sitting there going, first off, well, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to say anything. All I'm saying is that poor daughter has been horribly parented, and then that woman, I wouldn't go near her with a 10-foot pole. Bat Flipper says Mike Tomlin, Doug Peterson reminds me of my dating life. I'd fire Peterson in my 20s, keep Tomlin in my 40s, even though they both gave me the same thing. Only one kid.
I don't know about that. In large part because Tomlin's never had a bad season. And I do think that there is value in being able to continue with the locker room to maintain continuity in a certain way. And by the way, he's done it without really having a franchise quarterback since Roethlisberger. That's incredible to me. And you can't treat it like Peterson because look at Peterson's record and put it next to Tomlin's and tell me that's the same guy. You can't. Super Bowls are just hard to win.
So I wonder if the Bears will hire, the Cardinals offensive coordinator Drew Petzing. As we said earlier, Disney villain. Or what was the one that we really liked?
Well, you had Disney villain. You had Jafar without his goatee. You had the vulture.
What was the one that Hefty Lefty said?
Oh man,
he had a good one.
He did have a good one. I can't remember.
Well, that guy, having an interview with the Bears might be good for the Cardinals. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how they look at him and say, wow, this offense for the Cardinals was just so good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I don't think it was, I think it was a pretty good offense this year for the most part. They were explosive. They picked up a lot of yards out, throughout the season, but there were times where they struggled in the red zone, didn't quite punch it in. And then the whole beginning of the season drama where Marvin Harrison just wasn't even being schemed open. That just seems odd to me. Why would you draft a guy with your first pick and then not make him the focal point of your offense? And I know Marvin Harrison had his struggles, but wouldn't that have helped to get him more involved in the game?
So the question is, was the trouble between Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. or Kyler Murray? Who was the problem in that scenario?
I think a little bit of both. There were times where he was open.
Bad coaching.
Kyler didn't get him the ball.
Who's
there were
coaching?
times where Marvin didn't catch the ball, which that's not a coaching thing. That you got to catch, man. Like they drafted you because your hands are great. Use your hands. But like the coaching, like sometimes he was not schemed to be the focal point of the offense. Why? That's your game breaker. Any team that drafts a Jamar Chase or a Justin Jefferson, you're trying to get the ball into this guy's hands as much as humanly possible. Then the Cardinals draft Marvin Harrison Jr. and don't do that for about 6 or 7 games in the season. And then when they do, it opens right up. It wasn't perfect after that, but it was better. Like I just don't get that.
After you left, you said that Petzig looked like a Temu Jeff Bezos.
That's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah.
There.
Hilarious.
All right. Got to take a break. We'll be back. I'll finish up the text here on the text line. We got on this date in Big Georgia sports history and whatever else. The only thing I'm going to say before we go is I'm really glad to see Brian Flores interviewing with everyone. That'll be interesting. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Sports betting apps are not created equal. Dylan Cohen from Beat the Book here to talk about the Sport Trade Advantage. With higher payouts, Sport Trade is the ultimate sports betting experience. Sport Trade is the first sports betting app that gives you the option to see the odds expressed as probabilities, and it's changing in-game betting forever. If it's easier to understand 52% probability of winning versus minus 108 odds, then Sport Trade is for you. With this percent odds feature, cashing out now makes much more sense. As the win probability changes, so does the value of your bet. And if you're an experienced bettor and prefer American odds, you'll get pricing closer to minus 106 versus the normal minus 110, coupled with instant in-play betting. No more spinny wheels. So download Sport Trade today to see the difference and beat the book. Use promo code 1580 to earn 10% cash back on every bet you place in your first week. Terms apply.
Sport Trade is regulated by the Arizona Department of Gaming. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
I've just been feeling so sluggish lately. You should try the Metamucil 2-week challenge. The Metamucil 2-week challenge? Yeah, Metamucil 4-in-1 fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Start your daily routine now, and in 2 weeks, you could be feeling great. Well, it's been 2 weeks. How you feeling? Lighter and feeling great.
If you want to feel lighter by promoting digestive health, sign up to take the 2-week challenge at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Now open in Scottsdale. It's United Forte Custom Door Showroom with 40,000 Euro doors and hundreds of state-of-the-art designs and finishes on display, plus kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and more, all at wholesale prices. Builders, contractors, designers, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Forte, P-O-R-T-E. Stop by to see and feel the quality. United Forte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's UPORTE.com.
My pain is considerable, but that prescription is dangerous.
The side effects of my medicine are worse than my condition.
I'm in recovery. I can't take those pills.
When faced with a health crisis, you shouldn't have to choose between risks.
At the Naturopathic Physicians Group in Scottsdale, our medical doctors are experts in full spectrum care using a natural approach. Patients come in for a variety of issues, including joint pain, chronic conditions, and issues specific to men's and women's health. Our naturopathic doctors can restore pain-free joint function and restore balance in immune, digestive, and hormone systems, which often improves immediate physical symptoms without having you take a bunch of pills. If traditional medicines aren't working, don't you think it's time to start feeling like yourself again? Call Naturopathic Physicians Group at 480-451-6161. That's 480-451-6161. Or go to naturopathicgroup.com.
1580 The Fanatic and at 1580thefanatic.com.
Your home for sports.
Today, Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Well, Kyle G. That would be Jeff Fisher. His question was, who was the Rams coach who went 8-8 every year for a decade when they were in St. Louis? Wait, was that Jeff Fisher?
It was Jeff Fisher.
Oh yeah. Every time someone says Tomlin never had a losing season, that's who pops in my head. It's a little bit
Yeah, but
different.
Did Jeff Fisher win a Super Bowl? Oh wait, no, he didn't. Got very close. I think he was like half a yard short, but no.
The Rams did win a Super Bowl, but I guess that was a different coach before he got there.
Fisher, Fisher was with the Titans, and then the Rams.
Well,
The
what are you
Super
talking
Bowl.
about, St. Louis?
Yeah.
That was
the
the
Super Bowl.
Louis.
The Super Bowl he lost
Oh, yeah.
was to the Rams,
Yeah.
and no, he was 8-8, but he wasn't quite 8-8. His career kind of averaged out to that, but there was a lot of 7 and
The game left him behind.
yeah.
Tomlin still in the game.
Yeah, and like again, Jeff Fisher got his quarterback on multiple occasions and didn't win, including, the same Jared Goff that seemingly no one could figure out. McVay was able to get something out of Goff, and now Goff is able to reach another level with the Lions. But Jeff Fisher had him first. Nothing came of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Fisher was there for the Sam Bradford draft as well. Like, he got his quarterback. He just still lost. Then you're looking at Tomlin. Tomlin's had Mason Rudolph multiple
more
times.
with less.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's just come
And
on.
Jeff Fisher did less with more. Navy Devil says, I'm sure the Bears will hire a bad choice. Yeah, you're probably right. Trey Lance for Kyler Murray, says historian. Trey Lance for Kyler Murray.
No.
What are you doing? You're being a wise ass when you put 3 laughing faces on there.
Yeah. No. Come on. Even as a joke. Come on.
So the Vikings and Lions game the other night, huge, 28.5 million viewers for that last game of the regular season. It's a shame it wasn't a better game. I was really hoping it would be a better game. It started out and everyone was like, oh, this is looking pretty good. Oh, and then all of a sudden the Lions just started attacking Sam Darnold. And that was it. But yeah, all right. 28.5 million. Can I say, here's what's also sad. Not only did 28.5 million people see the Vikings just get owned, but the Vikings also, before the game, spent $2 million on tickets at Ford Field trying to get some of their people in there.
Oh, man.
The seats were clustered behind the Minnesota bench, and the Lions were like, wait, can they do that? So they checked with the league, and the Lions were like, hey, can they do that? And the NFL's like, yeah, we can do that. So it's fair. And so now they're like, oh, well, if we see the Vikings on their field, which they won't now, but if they were to see the Vikings in their field, they're like, future years.
Future years. And I'm sure that if they meet in the playoffs somehow this year, which is very possible, there's going to be some Ben Johnson petty play that has something to do with that, I'm sure.
So, yeah, why not? Anyway, so that was funny. They bought $2 million worth of tickets, and it did them
absolutely no good. It just got skunked.
So now the Lions are the betting favorites to win the Super Bowl. And here's did you guys do this on the Beat the Book thing? Did you guys talk about the Super Bowl betting odds yet, or no?
Not yet. No, we spent more time with the early odds for the super duper wild card weekend.
All right. Well, let me give you the 411, and then later on when you guys are talking odds, you'll be like, oh yeah, I already know that. And he's going to be like, damn you, how dare you talk betting with some other show? And there's going to be like a custody battle or something. Maybe just not. Maybe just keep it to yourself. Anyway, so here's the deal. After that game, after the Lions whooped the Vikings, now they are plus 280 favorites to win the Super Bowl, according to DraftKings. And then after that, the Chiefs are at plus 350, Ravens at plus 600, Bills at 650, Eagles at 700. And if you want a long shot, it's the Vikings at plus 1,600, Packers at plus 2,000, Buccaneers at plus 2,500, and Chargers plus 2,800. So, sorry, Keon, the extreme long shot, Commandos, 4,500.
I don't know that you should say sorry about
Dude,
that.
bet that.
They
Just
are.
bet it, put a couple bucks on it.
Yeah, I might as well, right? I mean, I did. I have already bet on them to do this before the season started because I have $1 I like to waste every year.
What odds did you get them at when you originally did it?
Let me
because they're at plus 4,500 right now.
I'm gonna have to log in and check.
I'm curious. I'll tell you the other ones while you're doing that. Other long shots, Rams, the same odds, 4,500. Broncos plus 5,500. Texans at plus 8,000. And Steelers at plus 9,000. Gee, you almost want to put a buck or two on Steelers because it's Mike Tomlin. You never know. I mean, maybe you do know. I don't know.
Yeah, but, I mean, you might want to put a buck or two on it, but the fact is,
$8, just $1.
Russell Wilson, versus Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I can't.
And then the thing is, people are going to go, see, Tomlin doesn't do anything, and you're just going to go, all right.
It was Lamar
Jackson. It was Lamar Jackson. It was Lamar bleeping Jackson.
You clown ass.
You can't just look at his run and go without context. Let's just fire a guy because we want to just shake things up. For who? For what? Don't you have to have a why? Don't you have to go, okay, can I find a better coach than Mike Tomlin if I fire Mike Tomlin? And who would that be?
Yeah, there's nobody.
Just
especially not right now. So yeah, Bat Flipper says Commandos used to be is that $1 billion? I can't count that many zeros. To one before this year.
It wasn't $1 billion, but it was a very large number.
He's being funny.
It was a very large number. That's the thing.
You can't find it? I want to know.
Well, no, I'm still logging in. I forgot my password. It's been a long time since I've used this particular app.
Scratch Me Because says trade Kyler Murray for Cam Scadaboo. You can't trade to who? To who, by the way?
Cam Scadaboo's entering the draft. Yeah. You can't trade for him.
This is where people are punch drunk right now. This late in the show. Speaking of Lamar Jackson, he now is the NFL leader at the end of the regular season in both yards per pass and yards per run. And 8.8 yards per pass and an average of 6.6 yards per run. Do we know who the MVP is yet? Because I feel like, aren't we supposed to know at the end of the regular season? Right?
I mean, well, they hold on to that until the week before the Super Bowl, so they can do their NFL awards. But the decision's
supposed to be made based on the first 18 weeks, right? Or is it still including some of the playoffs?
No, it's based on the first 18 weeks, but we don't know because they don't release the information.
So yeah, we'll talk more about that later. We're running out of time. Let me do this. It's time now for On This Date in Big George's sports history. Back in the year 1951, one day after playing in the longest game in NBA history, a 75-73 win over the Rochester Royals in 6 overtimes. All right, stop this. Stop. I'm not even doing the rest of the story. 1951, it was a 75-73 score after 6 overtimes. See, this is what happens when you start giving me stories before civil rights movement. It's just a bunch of pasty ass white guys hanging around throwing a basketball at the basket, clunk, 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 clunk for 6 overtimes. That means it was tied 73-73 at some point, and then nobody scored again. My God, 6 overtimes, and it's only 75-73.
I can't. Who stuck around to watch that?
Oh my God, nobody could. No, and Rochester Royals and Indianapolis Olympians, that's why they don't exist anymore. They were NBA teams. They aren't anymore. It's another good point. Jesus.
Let's see. My odds were plus 15,000.
Wow. That's pretty good.
Yeah. And it wasn't even $1. I didn't even throw $1 at it. It was like a 50-cent bet.
Why?
Pays 75. I don't know what I was thinking at the time.
Why would you put the full dollar
I don't know. I wasn't. Look, it never works. It doesn't. The amount of money I put there doesn't matter. It never
just clearing out the account. You're like, oh, here's 50 cents.
That must have been it.
Just do that.
Here's the thing. I've been doing it. I've been doing it since sports betting was legal in Tennessee, at least. It's funny. Never once been close to working. So why?
Yeah, you had no idea. You had no idea. Wow. You want to hear something even more crazy?
Oh, man.
We've heard a lot of crazy in just like the last 3 minutes of this show. Ezekiel Elliott actually got picked up by the Chargers. Did you know that? He
Yeah.
agreed to terms of the Chargers. That somebody actually, can you? Wow.
That's a in case we wind up being very desperate situation because the Chargers rely on running the football, and then you've got their running backs have been injured all year, rotating thick class of J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, and one guy's always out.
By the way, Harvey Putzwadler says, "Well, that was in the pre-shot clock era." Big Kev says, "Well, remember, Jeffrey, the 3-point line was non-existent." Go look at the team photo for the real answer. just dialed up the contrast on your screen because you're gonna be like, it's so bright. Everybody trying to rationalize this. That's it. I'm going home. All right, everybody. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. A lot more football to talk about tomorrow, too. It's a Daily Blitz.